I mean, and you know what they need to do? Those guys are said it on the post game last night. Somebody called Heflin and pinned him down. And Will said, you know what? He needs some time off. He does. That guy needs some time off. I tell you what I would do with him if I were them. I'd take him and try to make a pitcher out of him to help me in the stretch drive. Because they need another arm out of that bullpen. You cannot compete with only 2 arms you can count on out of your bullpen. That's a very difficult thing to do. Especially when, as Brian said, and as you guys are pointing out, with our offense, the margin for error is so slim. I felt so bad for the 2 Saturday pitchers. The Appenzeller guy was just out there too long, and the error kind of comes out of him. But hell, Beanstar, if you don't score a run, eventually the error is going to come out of your pitching staff. I mean, that's only natural. Those guys can only hold it together for so long. The hitting on Friday and Saturday was embarrassing.
Ole Miss, I want to tip a hat a little bit to their first 2 starters. They were outstanding. Obviously, we didn't put them in any kind of situation. I mean, they almost never had to throw out a stretch. So that's never a good thing. But yeah, and we do have some bullpen depth issues and role issues, but for the most part, it comes right back to not putting pressure on the other team offensively.
Jaybird 1499 says something that a lot of people are thinking, which is this, Bino. He says, I'm discovering that we really didn't have a baseball program. We had a baseball coach. That thing is not sustainable without Tony V.
I hope that's not true, Tony. I hope we see a similar deal to what Texas A&M has gone through. I mean, Texas A&M's laying up there at 12-5 now in conference. After having just a horrendous year last year for them. So I'm hopeful that that's going to be our case. But you know, we have to prove that that's the case going forward.
Here's my fear.
FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Flyered up, focused, and prepared with you. Tony Basilio welcoming you to another edition. My Flyers are up 2-0 in a series that you don't care about, but I'm pretty pumped. And really, that's all that counts in my world as I bring in the great Maury Hanks, Super Scout to the Stars. And look, we have a deadline upon us. We're going to get right to it. We're going to do it with the greatest of ease. He's a Super Scout to the Superstars, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Maury Hanks. He's with Global Basketball. He puts events on all over the world. He's got his ear to the ground on this transfer portal stuff, and it is totally wild. It's coming to a head, and Maury, I bring you in against a backdrop, brother, that this stuff just keeps getting crazier and crazier every year, and the things we hear are just nutso that are going on in the space.
Yeah, Tony, it's like we talked about last week. It's high stakes poker, and it's near the end of the game, and you're trying to win your money back, or not just win your money back, but go home a big winner. And unfortunately, some of these guys, I don't think will make decisions for a while in terms of or the NBA draft. Yeah. They don't have to do that till the end of May. So, a guy like you've talked about, Gio Harris, I'm sure he's in play for that.
Yep.
This young man from Texas Tech, they may wait the pre-draft camps in a couple weeks, and they may get more clarity knowing, hey, we're going to be at this number in the first round, or we'll be guaranteed this much money if we go early in the second round. There's still a lot going on.
Here's the thing. Mo, I just go back to this, okay? I don't understand how the calendar can be so ignorant toward these college coaches. First of all, they're in an ignorant spot anyway because of the portal and everybody eats your own. And I heard an incredible story last night about this Amari Evans kid, and Tennessee sit down with him, and they just couldn't believe it. They were like, oh, boy, this guy's going out the door. But everybody's having to deal with that. But the calendar doesn't line up at all. It doesn't make any sense for college basketball.
Yeah, Tony, but I mean, I don't know how farther you can push it back. Like now, if you say you push it back now, before it was before the Final Four. At least this year they pushed it back. So if you say you're going to push it back another week, again, then you're running up against the end of the school year at some schools that that end in late April. Then you're running up against. Then you're running up more against the NBA draft decisions. I don't know how much Again, if you want to push it back a week. And again, it doesn't matter what I think, but that may make some sense. But you can't push it back much farther.
No, and they're talking about pushing it back a week. My point is, and here's where we are, because I was poking around on Duke Harris last night, and I was told, hey, look, Duke Harris playing college basketball, he's playing here. But the question is, like Maury said, is he going to go to the NBA? Because they've told him, we want you out there. Barnes is an old guy. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's been through this a million times. And he tells these kids, I want you going through that NBA stuff because I want you to know how you can improve yourself. But here's the field of play as we sit here. We've got a midnight Eastern time deadline tonight. Tennessee's been chasing this point guard one. And, I don't know where that stands. I can't get anything out of that. I can get everything out of them I want, but I can't get that. Another thing I can't get, and I was sharing with Maury today, and none of us can, that are on this stuff, which is why you're not hearing any names, there are other point guards they're interested in, but they're not in the portal. And Maury and I were talking about this today. So on the phone today, Tennessee's got a list, because obviously they have a list. If plan A, point guard one, doesn't work out, I've got to have a list over here of other guys I'm willing to call and we're willing to spend $6-7 million for. Guys that will listen. And maybe it doesn't even take that much. Maybe it's $3 million for a pretty good point guard, which is crazy how expensive this has gotten. But $3 million for a pretty good point guard, and then we spend the rest of the money on getting a pretty good big guy. And we go shopping today. Or we go shopping today for the point guard, and then we get a big guy out of whomever's in the portal. But today the goal for the Vols is to pull somebody into the transfer portal, be it the point guard one target. And if that guy goes in, we're all going to know who that is. We're all going to know when it happens. Boom. If it's somebody else, it shows you, hey. And as soon as it happens, you're going to see a Trilly. You're going to see one of these guys or one of these services that's on top of this, Jeff Goodman's service, Maury's guy who does a great job. They're going to say, hey, I hear Tennessee in that guy. Or maybe they don't know. Maybe it's nice and quiet, and the Vols just pull them out in a couple days. But they have to be really, really deft about this, Mo, because, and you and I were talking about this today, where we come from, this is called tampering. But in 2026, Maury, this is what the sport has encouraged these head coaches, Maury, to do to each other. How did we get in this spot, Maury?
Yeah, Tony, there's just, it's like this in all sports in NCAA. There's just no guardrails, no rules. Back in the day, it used to be called tampering. But it's just crazy that you'll see some kids wait till today to put their name in the portal. Why, if you knew you were going to do it, why you didn't do it then? You didn't have to leave your school. Just because you put your name in your portal, you can go back to your school, as you've talked about.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy that they'd wait till today I'd be afraid if I was a kid. You wait till today and all the money's gone, or the money's gone at the 3 schools you want to go to.
Well, at the end of the day, I admire what these guys are doing, and I admire how the haul these guys have had, Mo. Like your guy Goodman and them already say Tennessee's got the number 1 class out there, and they're not even counting Juke Harris yet, Mo. These guys are smoking the field. I mean, they literally, for this Harris kid, flexed on Kansas, Maury. Did you ever think we'd see stuff like this here in Knoxville?
No, I mean, I knew Knoxville had great fans and whatnot, but the upper echelons are kind of being knocked down a peg with some of these people that have money. I mean, St. John's, they do have the best coach in the history of the game. They just went and beat Kentucky on a player. I mean, I got up, back in the day, Kentucky would never lose a player to St. John's.
Right. Kentucky can't get anybody to go there, Mo, and they've got money. What do you think as you put your ear to the ground on that deal? What do you think's going on with the Cats, man? They've got tons of money, but they can't get anybody to take their money.
Again, I don't know exactly, but Tony, it may be some of those people, that made the investment last year. And again, those people are, beloved fans, but they may have said, hey, we spent $22 million on a roster, and, if we don't pull off a miracle win in the first round against Santa Clara, we don't get a win in the NCAA tournament, we're going to pull back the reins a little bit. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see in 2 or 3 years if they put any more guardrails on this, the NCAA, and number 2, if they don't, if teams that are big players now are going to continue to be big players. Like we talked about, Texas Tech, went all in last year. I mean, this kid that they're losing, that the point guard, he's a really good player we talked about earlier. Christian
Anderson, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's from right down the road in Atlanta. Thing that's interesting about him, Tony, he was born in Germany. His dad's a military guy, I guess. And I guess that's one thing 3 or 4 people I spoke to last night and this morning said that the kid is a no-nonsense, hard-working player. He sounded like he'd be a perfect player for Coach Barnes. He played in the German under-19 national team last summer, and in the championship game had 18 points against the USA. Originally signed at Michigan. I'm thinking that he signed with Juwan Howard, and then when Howard got let go, he got out of his letter and then decided to go to Texas Tech. But how about that? He would have been on that Michigan team this year.
I mean, do you not love it? And so Anderson goes in, and here's how this works, right? Anderson, everybody's trying to connect dots. Is he going to end up at Duke? Is he going to end up at Florida? Is he going to end up in the NBA? Is he going to end up here? What are you hearing on that, Mo?
On Anderson, I've heard he just changed agents this week. That the 2 or 3 NBA people I talked to think that he's going to stay in the draft. They'd be surprised if he wasn't. But again, 3 years ago, before all this craziness with money, from what I've been told and how well he played, I'd say he was gone. Now that you can get paid, but Tony, he also played with a guy named Toppin, who wasn't a top 15, 20 pick. Was probably, if he would have went out last year, probably late first, maybe early second round, 28 to 40.
Yeah, and
that guy blew his knee out. But Anderson had some huge games. I mean, this guy, he had some, probably I'd say 10, 12 games over 25 points this year, Tony. And he's the guys I talked to said he could really, really shoot, really plays well in pick and roll, and very, very good scorer of the ball.
Here's the thing, Mo, I look at where they are, what they're doing, and there's an irritant in my YouTube chat who's telling me, well, they told this kid from VCU, he gave a quote and said, they told me they're going to hand me the point guard spot. Hey, Mo, would you please explain to these guys that these coaches tell these kids anything they want to hear during recruiting and then turn around and go get a point guard? Would you please explain that to me? Explain that to that person.
Yeah, because the guy really doesn't have any, by the time, like I said, let's say this happens in a week.
He got nothing he can do.
Then where's the kid going to go?
Thank you.
I'm sure. And again, it's not Coach Barnes. Everybody's doing this.
Thank you.
And again, the way that basketball is played nowadays, it's not played like when I used to coach a million years ago, where you had a point guard, you had a shooting guard, you had a small forward, you had a power forward, and you had a center. And you didn't play like if your two guard got taken out of the game for foul trouble, you put in your backup two. You didn't put in your backup three and move the starting 3 to 2 like they do now. Basically, basketball is interchangeable today. Back when I coached, it wasn't. So, nobody really has a true point guard. If you see everybody plays pick and roll and the floor is wide open, so there's no dominant ball playmaker. Now, it helps to have one.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it's not the end all.
And by the way, they love this kid from VCU. They think he could be a great scorer. They think he could be an all-league player. But they don't think, Maury, kind of like what you said about him, he's not 100% a point guard. He's just not. Nice player,
No,
though.
I mean, for what the one time I saw him play on tape and when we first talked about him and the people I talked to, it sounded a lot like what people said about Gillespie when he was coming here last year.
So let's go back here. And we're back to what's going to happen in the portal. Mo, do you believe that Tennessee will try and talk somebody in? Do you believe that's going to happen? That they're going to attempt to do that today?
Yeah, Tony, I don't know. Again, if the guy you've been talking about, comes in, they don't need to. If they get some traction with this Anderson kid, they don't need to. If they find out, it's like free agency in the NBA. You think you've got a guy coming, and there are just some great stories about that back in the day. I'll tell you another time. Literally teams talking to the player and them saying, "Yeah, I'm I'll be there for a visit. It looks good. I want to play with Blake Griffin or whatnot." And 50 yards away in the airport hangar, as they're getting ready to go visit, the agent's closing a deal with another team. I mean, it's just great stories like that. But it's coming down to the deadline. It'll be interesting to see if, like you said, point guard one gets in the portal in time, and if not, what they decide to do and where they pivot. I think right now, if Juke Harris comes, they've got a very, very good team. Would it be good to add somebody? Sure, but I think the team they have right now put together is a quality basketball team.
No question. Even with Juke Harris, they're a much better basketball team than they had last year. And here's the thing. People were in total free fall, Mo, when these guys walked out of here. I heard last night that they sat the Evans kid down. He's one of the first kids they met with, and they were like, look, we got huge plans for you. We're going to grow you. We love you. You're my kind of – Barnes is like, you're my kind of player. And the kid and his representative look at you, T. Maury, and they asked him one question. And what was that question, Maury?
How much am I going to get paid?
And that was it. And Rick Barnes looked at them and said,
Tony, that's all that matters nowadays. UT's just like everybody else.
And Rick Barnes,
everybody else, every player, that's all they want to know. And I'm not saying that's bad, but I think kids also have to look at style of play and if they're going to be happy there and things like that. And I don't think enough players do that these days.
Well, it's pretty amazing, Maury, to stop and think about kind of where we are and where this thing is going, because Tennessee still has big man needs. If you were them, Mo, and you had, like, say, I don't know, $8 or $9 million to play with, would you split that over, when you look at their current roster, which something I'll ask Matt Dixon as well, would you look at their current roster and go, okay, I could just go get a competent kind of point guard just to handle the point guard duties, let the kid from Cal and the kid from VCU play off the ball and go off, and they could play some point guard as well. Even Juke Harris could play some point guard as well. The Harrelson kid played point guard for the second half of Notre Dame season and was okay at it. So, I mean, they were a losing team, whatever. And as you said last week about him, somebody has to score the points. So he did a lot of things on a bad team. Kind of reminds me of when I was at small radio stations, or you coming up when you get opportunities and you get to wear several different hats. It's good for you. You get to learn some different things. Anyway, if you were Tennessee, would you take that money, put most of it in a point guard here at the deadline, or would you go half and half, Mo, and bolster my front line and then add a little in the backcourt?
Tony, unless, again, what little I know, unless the point guard was elite, that you really thought could make a difference, move the needle, as they say, I'm a big believer in having some depth.
Yep. In other words, go two players instead of going all in on one.
Yes, unless that guy that's all in can really do it at a position you need.
Yep.
Unless you're going to give him, again, and Tony, that's what's so interesting about these guys. And Coach Barnes doesn't play a deep bench, but some of these guys, they want their money, but then they want their time.
Yeah.
And that's what's so interesting. Again, back in the day, it's a million years ago, and I won't tell you the player, but back in the day, to get a veteran guy and a free agent, they had a thing called the mid-level exception.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what it is now, but in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, I was with the Nets, and we were very, very good. And the guy that's in the Hall of Fame wanted to come play with Jason Kidd. He said, "I'll take less. I'll take the mid-level exception." And then as soon as nobody else will give him that, but we give it to him. As soon as we start losing a little bit, as soon as some guys get hurt, he wants to be traded. And it's like today, everybody wants their money, but then they want to play as many minutes as possible because they're looking for the next big thing. So unless that guy that you can pay $6 million to really is a difference maker and is going to, you're going to give him the ball and he's going to have it all the time, I'd go and try to get some depth.
We're going to talk with Matt about that. The other thing around this Tennessee thing that's kind of astounding is it looks like they're going to spend more than anybody else in the SEC this year, which is kind of wild. Hey, Mo, here's what I hear internally. I wrote about this in the blog today, and I want your thoughts on this because you've been around administrators. Danny White is highly concerned that the football program is not going to be up to snuff this year. In other words, Vegas hasn't picked, I think 6.5 wins, something like that was the initial projection. I don't know if it'll go to 7.5 by the time we see later numbers post spring ball, but this baseball deal is not off to the best start in the world. Who knows what next season looks like? And they've got that big new stadium. Got to win at something, man. The women's basketball coach is off to kind of I don't know what you'd call it, in her second year. She's trying to get up off the mat right now. Basically, Rick Barnes has been told from the money people, you go and make the deals, and then we'll figure out how to get these people paid. That's what they're doing. I mean, that is what they're doing. Basically, Maury, they're doubling their payroll from last year, at least, plus maybe a little more, which is wild, which is really wild. What do you think of that, this development here with hoops?
Well, I think a lot, all the points you make are good, but I also think it's keeping up with the Joneses. They know if they don't do it, somebody else is going to. And, again, with them not having to publicly state what these numbers are, I do think some of the numbers are inflated. But like Illinois had a great team this year. They're bringing most of their guys back. Did they get a home team discount? Do they love playing for Brad Underwood? Nobody knows. Or did they go all in and have to pay him a bunch more? And that's the one thing, at least in the NBA, teams know what other teams are paying them, and there's talk about guardrails. There are guardrails. You can go over the cap, but teams know what other teams are paying player X. And that's why agents have an influence in the NBA.
Yep.
But I hate to say it, they don't have the influence they have here.
No, they don't. And what's interesting here is as a friend of mine told me, that there's a misconception in this deal. The players and the parents think that they're working for the agents instead of the agents are working for them. And the agents are moving these kids around. And then another thing that I hear, and somebody talked about this in our YouTube chat yesterday, and I'm just going to ask you about this, Mo, is there are a couple guys that are assistant coaches at certain schools who are literally selling themselves. I want a finder's fee, or I want $500,000, and we'll help funnel this player to you. I mean, Mo, what are we back in Chicago back in the day with that big center? When everybody got in trouble, $10,000 to come visit some center in inner city Chicago. Is this what we're doing now, Mo? I mean, where's the shame among these people?
Yeah, really, there is none until until there's some rules put in place. But yeah, and I told you last week, Tony, there's a player he's leaving his second school to go to his third, and he either wants X amount of dollars and a $500,000 job for his assistant coach, or he wants, X plus 500 so that he can give it to the assistant coach. And it's just crazy.
It's pretty outstanding. All right, Maury, on the way out here, do you think the Vols can get somebody in the portal? What's your inclination on that?
Tony, I don't know if they, by making a last minute to get somebody call and say, hey, if you come in, we'll take you and we'll play X. I don't know that, but I do think that they're not done. Like I said, if they can get this Anderson kid, from what I hear, one of the NBA guys said he would be a huge get for Tennessee. That's a quote. Not saying he wouldn't be a huge get for everybody else, but he just kind of fits the type of guy that Coach Barnes likes to coach. And if not, then I'm sure that they've got other guys on the board. And again, even though the deadline's coming, again, the guys don't need to make decisions, and if guys are out there waiting, it's Tony, to your wife, when she first met you in the bar, you looked a lot better at 2 a.m. than you did at 10 p.m.
Oh, I was always a 10 at 2.
The longer it goes, the better guys look.
I was always a 10 at 2, Mo. And I tell you something else. This club, as it's currently constructed, because you and I both believe that Juke Harris, you've talked to people, Juke Harris is going to flirt around with those NBA waters, but ultimately he ends up here unless he decides, hey, I'm going to take second round money or end of the first round money. He would really, really, really help himself by coming back. There's still a remote possibility, Tennessee fans believe, and I don't know how much of a possibility it is, but Nate Ament has again, the deadlines don't add up here, but he has till Sunday to let them know something. Wouldn't it behoove them if he let them know something like today? Maury, why don't they have the deadlines on top of each other?
I think Tony, again, with the different deadlines, he doesn't have to pull his name out of the draft until I believe the end of May.
It's so silly.
So if he doesn't get the right feedback and whatnot, and they have some money, he could come back. I don't see it happening. Again, from the people I've talked to in the NBA, they think he's got enough upside and did enough this year to be drafted where he'll stay in the draft. But I've seen stranger things happen. I think I've seen guys stay in the draft that shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And and guys that stayed in school. And I said people thought, hey, he could have been a top whatever pick, and. But again, I don't think he needs to basically let anybody know till the end of May. By the end of May, again, the combine is one on. You kind of figure out what European players are going to be in the draft. Their season's still going on over in Europe. EuroLeague and the Euro Cup is still going on. That'll finish up late April, mid-May, and you'll get a better idea of where people stack up. And then they'll have the draft lottery. People will know where they're picking. Right now, some team may think they're picking 14th. The lottery hits and they're picking 4th. All that stuff will come into play in Nate Ament's decision.
The whole thing is comes at you so fast. It changes so quickly. These guys have to stay nimble. And Maury, whether Tennessee gets that PG1 that they've been trying to get into that portal or not, or get home with somebody else. They've really had a hell of a haul. And Tennessee basketball is seriously going for it, Maury Hanks, on the way out here. Yes or no?
Oh yes, Tony. I mean, they've got I mean, from the players, especially again if Juke Harris comes, but like getting the kid from VCU, getting the kid from Notre Dame, getting the kid from Cal. They've added a lot of offensive weapons where I think it'll be a lot easier for them to score than it has been in the past.
Mo, much love to you. Yep. Yeah, when developments break out.
On the way out, I just want to give a shout to the great Charlie Lofton, great baseball pitcher at Bearden High School. Won another game last night, Tony. If you got out and kind of hung out with a common fan at these high school games, you'd see these things.
Tell me about Charlie Lofton at Bearden, Shepherd.
He's had a great year this year. He's a senior. His dad is the great Casey Lofton, who you accused of kicking the ball out of the rough. That was me that did that, and Casey just watched it. But Charlie's having a great year on the mound this year for Bearden.
You could be the man, my brother. Thank you. Presented by our friends at T3 Vodka. Distributed by our friends at Empire Distributors of Tennessee. And T3 goes down a lot smoother than a segment with Maury Hanks. And Mo, thanks. Love you.
Thanks, Tony.
Peace. The great Maury Hanks. We come back. Matt Diskin joins the show on a day where we're just kind of watching the wheels go round and round. And those of us that are attuned to this know that Tennessee is still trying to talk and work somebody into the portal. They've got so much money to play with. And I got to ask Matt and Brian and the Living Vol fan, are you happy with being a have? We have this underdog ethos here. We're throwing our money around like Kentucky last year, or BYU last year, or Duke last year. Is it obnoxious to watch us buy a team, or is it fun to watch us buy a team? Obnoxious or fun? I was thinking about that last night, watching my Flyers, who are up 2-0 on the Penguins right now. And the Penguins have these older, like Hall of Fame players, like Evgeny Malkin's been at it 20 years. Sidney Crosby's been at it 20 years. Letang's been at it like 20 years. And these guys are borderline roached, and eventually there's a change of the guard. And the Flyers have these young kids, and they really haven't spent. They haven't gone into the free agency. They haven't. And they bought a mid-level goaltender, Vladar, off Calgary's roster last year. But he much wasn't thought of him. It was just pretty good scouting and luck that they found him. The Predators, thank God for the Nashville Predators. I want to shout out the Preds Nation. I shout you out. The Preds were sitting there with that 5th pick last year, and the Flyers were going, please don't pick him. Please don't pick him. And they didn't pick Porter Martin, which is what everybody in hockey thought they were going to do. And the Flyers got the second best player in that draft. I mean, he's scored two game-winning goals in 2 consecutive playoff games. First teenager to do that in NHL history. But other than that, I'm sure he's not very good. So it's very easy to look at something and go, hey, we got lucky. But it's also extremely fun. 10 minutes in the box for Brian's boy, Weston Hayes. 10 minutes in the box, 10-minute misconduct to him. So I ask you this, and I'm going to ask Matt this and Brian this on the other side. Here we are, we're at the deadline. We've been through this, I don't know what it's been, 18-day odyssey together. We've sort of tracked it as we've gone. By my estimation, Tennessee's basically gotten everybody they want. And now it comes down to the final piece of the puzzle. If you were putting the final couple pieces together, and they are going to go after a big person or two from here, plus they are going to go get a natural point guard. That's what they're going to do. And I realize the Harris kid said, Gillespie talked, and it's my team, and okay, that's fine. They're going to try to add a point guard. How do I know? How did I know all the stuff I've told you as we've gone through this? You tell me how I knew. How did I know they were going to get offensive? How did I know they were going to spend more money than anybody? And it's all happened. So this point guard thing today is very much in play. In fact, they're still hoping that their point guard won target. This is not a ruse. This has not been a game. I'm not on here doing this for sport. They're still hoping something happens there. And you know what? In the portal era, one thing we've learned is that anything can happen. Did you ever believe that all those guys were going to walk off the campus? Because I didn't. Did you ever believe a Phillips and an Estrella and Evans were going to walk off the campus? I didn't. And it was like panic was setting in. Now, we knew Kim Caldwell's whole team was leaving because, I mean, no offense to her, but I don't know if I'd let her manage my annex to the Rainier studio at this point. But more power to her. Danny White says she's going in a great direction. And more power to her. But this stuff's exciting. Speaking of exciting, I want to shout out Ross, who is a listener to the show. And I want to congratulate Ross, who closed on his home yesterday with his... And I want to shout out his father, who encouraged him to reach out and call us. Both listeners to the show. Jennifer Morris says, great family, great people. And Jennifer Morris, who presents John Adams' second consecutive absence, is great people as well. And I want to shout out John Adams for his second consecutive absence here. John, these are among your two best absences on this show this year. And but shout out to Jennifer Morris. Next move, SmokyMountains.com. She a real one. She a real one, as I say in my hood. As we continue on the other side, Tony Basilio with you, kicking it, making it happen on the ones and the twos as we all watch the portal together. Your thoughts. If you were Tennessee, and let's say you had, I don't know, $9 million to play with from here. You're going to put most of it on a point guard one. Or are you going to take that money and go get a competent point guard that can play and kind of make all this fit together? This is sort of the discussion going on in real time. And then take some of that money and go get one or two really good forward type pieces. As we continue with more on the other, or big men type pieces. It's very interesting stuff as we continue with more on the other side. Hey, Brian, is Adams sitting out because LSU baseball has crashed and burned? Matt, do you think there's something to that? Matt Dixon, are you worried about Adams right now?
I'm not worried about him, but there could be some correlation between LSU baseball getting swept the last 2 weekends and John not showing up, especially after your comments to him about Jay Johnson that were not well received.
Matt, he bristled at me.
I don't think he has to worry about that. I don't think
he had his
Texas
upper
A&M
lip
is going to want LSU's baseball coach.
He had his upper lip up, Brian. He sneered at me. And Brian,
I don't think he'll have that option.
Brian brought a really good point up, Matt, which I want to unpack with you. A year and a half ago, it was 54 weeks ago, Tennessee plays A&M on a Friday night. And Brian broke it down scientifically today at tclub.team. Some numbers you could really blow your friends' minds with. And then Matt's got a great report on the weekend. And both of them are kind of, we're all just sort of looking at Tennessee baseball, and we're just kind of mystified. It's just bizarre. Tennessee has not been the same since they run-ruled A&M. And A&M got up the next day and punched the bully right square in the jaw. And the Vols went down that day in Knoxville, and I'm not sure they've gotten back up. And have been to baseball Vols since then. Brian Hartman found the line of D markation. And it was that A&M series. I agree with Brian. I don't think that's even arguable at this point. Now, they put it together a little bit at the end of the year and were able on some emotion to cobble it together, which is nothing to sneeze at. An appearance in a super regional, that's nothing to sneeze at, especially after winning it all. I mean, look at LSU right now. It's very difficult to get it stay on the horse. But things changed. Things changed that day. That Saturday over there at Lindsey Nelson. And I want to shout out the caller, Jude, who called in yesterday, the young man, student at UT. Danny White, of course, is always going to play to his balance sheet and is never going to look at sport the way I look at sport, the way a lot of us look at sport. To Danny White, sports are on a balance sheet, and they're not a balance sheet. Sports are played by human beings with people with hearts, minds, and souls in the stadium that become a part of the action and can times will a team on to victory. And the legends of Lindsey, the kids, they need to figure out a way to get those kids closer to the field. Unbelievable Andrew McOley. And so, Danny White, you got to fix this thing, man. Because for 2 years, teams have come in and had their way with us in our stadium. And where you have the kids configured, that place is dead, man. The place is dead. The kids have to be closer to the field. They were such a part of the early fervor and the vigor of the early Tony Vols era. I don't know if they get there without the legends of Lindsey in the early Tony Vols era. So I want to shout Jude out. And I want to tell you, you took yesterday a sad show and you made it better. And Bino said some kind of cryptic thing to me about needing red Heine pills on the way out. I thought I was in great form yesterday. But Bino just slapped me on the way out. So we continue with more on the other side right after this.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, when you schedule any HVAC or plumbing repair, your service fee is waived with the completed repair. That means expert help fast without the extra cost just to show up. Our certified technicians will quickly diagnose the issue and provide reliable solutions to make your home comfortable again. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when help matters most. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. Schedule your repair today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Service fee waived with completed HVAC or plumbing repair. Restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama's Easy approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Chilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. TB back with you, 865-200-5402. All right, so the show broke out during our time out here, and Brian Hartman had an interesting thing about how Tennessee's program, the end of the torrid pace for the Vols, occurred when Texas A&M got up and did something to the Vols that we were just not used to seeing. Brian Hartman wrote the following today over at tclub.team. From April 21st, which is where our blog is every day, from April 21st, 2022, which is a Vanderbilt series at home, which was the Evan Russell, you remember all that, through April 4, 2025, game one of the A&M series, the Vols went 41-12 in SEC regular season games. They won over 75% of their regular season games, sports fans. Since April 5th, 2025, which was that A&M run roll Friday night. And I remember driving home from playing music that night and thinking, we're never going to lose again. We're unbelievable. Tony Vols is going to dominate and rip college baseball apart for the next 10 years. I feel so sorry for the Billy Derricks of the world and all these Vandy fans who have set their watch by this sport. And I mean, we're making this thing look easy. We're running roughshod over this sport. We're going to dominate the sport for the next 10 years. And then what happens? You get up the next day, A&M punches the Vols in the face, hits them with a lariat, and literally stretchers the Vols right in Lindsey Nelson Field. And it was kind of a dismal, sort of rainy day, Brad. Do you remember that? It was sort of a rainy kind of day.
They played a doubleheader, so...
Yeah. Rain was in the forecast. It was kind of dismal outside.
I think it was coming in Sunday, maybe, and that's why they had to play a doubleheader.
During the torrid stretch, Tennessee won 16 of 18 SEC series, won all 9 series at home, swept 7 SEC series in that span, and were 25-3 in Knoxville. 25-3. Incredible. Like Filmer in the 90s. Incredible run. Since April 5th, 2025, that A&M run rule Friday night, through the present, the Vols are now 15-23 in the SEC. A .394 SEC winning percentage. And since that time, the Vols have only won 3 of 12 SEC series they've played, and only 1 SEC series in 7 at home. Seems impossible. Matt Dixon, what do you think?
Yeah, you can certainly point to that A&M doubleheader as kind of a changing of the program where they've gone. But what they did from like 21 through 24, and I guess that the first half of 25, like that's the outlier. That shouldn't be the expectation. That's not normal for the sport. And it's especially not normal for a program like Tennessee that isn't one of the kind of blue bloods of the sport or one of the regal programs. Like that run that they went on was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And that was not sustainable. Like it just wasn't, especially in a sport like baseball and SEC baseball, which this year is a lot more similar to the major leagues than ever before with the parity. But like all that, like that shouldn't be the expectation. What those teams did for that stretch there, because that is such an outlier, and it was incredible to see. And you hope to have some of that continue, and you'd like to, obviously you want to win more than they have here recently, but to compare anything to that or have those expectations is just setting yourself up to always be disappointed, because it was such a special run with maybe the best coach that's ever been on campus. And what all went into that was just incredible. And it would have been nearly impossible for Vitello to replicate another 5-year run like that had he stayed around. So having those expectations, which a lot of the newer baseball fans do, because that's all they've known, is the real issue here, because you're kind of back to normal in terms of what an SEC baseball program looks like. There's highs, there's lows. You're going to win some. You're never just going to run roughshod over the league like those teams seem to do.
And then Matt, on the other side, this obviously isn't real. Since that series, when you won 16 of 18 SEC series leading up to that A&M deal, somebody's reminded me, Matt, now is this true? Is that the day that Greg Vitello had that dust up with that fan in the stands?
Yeah, it was that series against A&M.
Wow! So it was that day.
And what ironically is they beat A&M for the national title just the year before.
Yes.
And then A&M is the line of demarcation here where they went in the other direction.
Matt, this 7 of 13 in home SEC home games since, with only one series sweep in that stands, and they've only won one series out of 7 at home. That can't be real either, right? Now we're in a stretch that's obviously not sustainable either. To your point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As long as you have the talent and the coaching that I think you still have over there. I think you're just kind of going through a rough stretch, kind of, coming back to the norm from those highs. Now you're a little bit low. You're going to, rebound at some point. Hopefully you do it the rest of the season to get back into the tournament. But yeah, because you're really competitive. You're probably 2 or 3 games better than your record shows in league play this year, even with all the struggles at the plate. So yeah, you'd like for that to turn around this year, but it turned around in a negative way on the program over these last year or so, from what you had, and now you just kind of hope you can rebuild that. It's a first year coach with a bunch of new assistants and some new things. So there obviously were things to work out that A&M's another great example from that perspective. They went from, preseason number 1 last year to not even making the tournament. And now this year they're one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the league and having a really good year. You hope Tennessee can kind of follow that path as well. You just hope they sneak into the field this year.
Hey, Matt, Bino, Jeff said yesterday, and by the way, if you have a thought on that, what Brian said, and just how 1 minute you're smoking hot and the next minute you kind of suck out loud. I mean, let's just call this what it is. For these guys to be 7 and 13 in home SEC baseball games kind of sucks over the last couple seasons. I mean, let's just call that what it is. And not even like
they suck. They hosted a regional and won it last year.
Hey, Matt, they're 7 and 13 over their last 21 home SEC games. 20. I didn't do it. That sucks.
No, I know, but they
sucks.
They were like 9-1.
That sucks, and that sucks. That sucks, and that sucks. You want to defend that? Defend 7 and 13 at home. Go ahead. Defend it.
Winning a regional and making the supers the year after winning a national title was a great
I didn't
season.
say that. I said 7 and 13 at home sucks. And you know that sucks.
Suck.
Okay,
yeah,
well, that's the point. Okay, then what are we arguing about? That sucks.
Well, I'm just pointing out that the program's not bad. They're not awful.
I didn't say they're bad and that's awful. I said 7 and 13 at home sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
Okay, well. Okay. All right. Well, no.
You cherry pick the line of.
Well, hey, Jay, I didn't cherry pick anything. They're 7 and 13. Since Greg Vitello, since the argument. Brian, do you think the Greg Vitello argument had something to do with it?
I think that's coincidental. That's very coincidental.
Matt, here's my fear now that we had our little fake argument.
But I don't think some Joe Blow he argued with in the stands has that much power.
Hey, Matt, here's my fear, and this is Bino's fear. You got this nice new stadium, right? And you got that thing smoking red hot and this, that, and the other. And it got really fashionable to be there. And people feel like they're going to unplug on this thing. Do we have enough of a fan base, how do you even put that? Like of a real fan base for that sport to sustain people continuing to go now that it's going to settle down and maybe just be like normal baseball. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to climb on a wagon, Matt, when you're winning 80% of your games. Anybody can do that. And you're hitting all those home runs and you've got a guy that throws the ball 109 miles an hour and he's always on social media and this, that, and the other. But now that our fake argument's out of the way, from your perspective, is that a concern of yours like Bino says? People will go and they'll put up with basketball because they always have. And they'll go and watch, we know this, they'll go to a 5-7 football season and fill out Neyland Stadium. And that's just who we are. But will we do it for baseball, Matt? Will we do it for baseball through the lean years?
I think it's a valid concern and a question. I still think this fan base will. Now, obviously, maybe not great numbers and selling out your stadium and all that. But this fan base is too great, and I think a lot of people got so invested that they won't be able to turn it off, even if they're not, at every game or even watching every game. They'll still be invested a whole lot more than they were before. But that's also, you mentioned the Danny White stuff and the way that they neutered the stadium. I think that is a thing that is very real. You take, the students are no longer really impacting anything. The ticket prices have like tripled or even more the last few years. So I do think that you don't have that kind of hornet's nest, just hostile environment anymore. So that probably plays a factor in there as well. And UT needs to do a better job on their game day stuff, like with parking and some other things, to make it so much easier for fans just to go over there and watch a game. It's just so hard to park, even for the midweek games, because there's some student lots with students there, and they all changing things. It can be frustrating just getting in and out over there. And then that whole factor with the students I think that is very real.
Do you get
out of any kind of, being a factor at all?
Great point, Matt.
Do you get year one of Conzo vibes? Because a coach had to leave, different circumstances completely, but a very popular coach who identified who the fans really identified with left. Yeah. And the next year, you could almost feel the buzz just wasn't quite the same as it was before.
Yes. And to further that analogy, this guy's a pretty good guy. Conzo's a pretty good guy. I got no Conzo. Pretty good guy. But was never going to be like his predecessor. And I used to tell Conzo, I was like, man, people want to see you. They want to hear, they want to see you out in the community, hear you on the shows. And if you guys will notice, this head coach has been very not like Tony. He doesn't get out there like Tony. Matt, do you need that for this program? Do you need a coach that's a little more out loud? Even if you're not with your team, or down the line, is he going to need to invite people, do the shows, so to speak?
I think you always need your coaches to do that and be a face and sell the program to the fan base publicly. But that's not really who Elander is. He doesn't have that personality. Yeah, he's not Tony Vitello. He's never going to be Tony Vitello. There's only one of those. Yeah. And he left. But you kind of have a lot of the similar things going on, and you hope to capture. For me, it's like 80% of that magic. If you can keep that going, I think you'll be pretty successful. But he's got to be himself too. Like, you can't fake that kind of stuff. You can't fake energy and fake, arguing with umpires just to try to prove a point, because players especially see right through stuff like that. And that's how you lose locker rooms and lose respect of your teams. So he's got to just be himself. Ross Kivitt can kind of be that nut job that gets thrown out of games. I think he'd probably be the one that gets thrown out before Elander does. But you're kind of at a crossroads. It's weird, the whole new stadium thing. It is an interesting dynamic to throw into it. Yep. But this fan base is so passionate and so loyal. They're not going to give up on them. They're not going to just turn their back on them. They'll be fine. You just got to make sure you're competitive in the league and making the tournament, and every year or two you're making a run for Omaha. It's important for these guys, I think, this year to somehow figure out a way to scratch into the tournament. I think that's true. Now, if they don't make it, it's not the end of the world, but it certainly slows your momentum, and then it kind of puts you on not the clock for next year. That's not a fair way of putting it. But it puts a lot of pressure on you for next year if you don't make the tournament. Because then all of a sudden in that sport, you go 2 years without getting to the tournament, and all of a sudden you look up and your head coach is your head coach and you haven't been there for two consecutive years. Then you're in a tough spot. So they got some work to do.
to get in this year. I want your thoughts on that at 865-200-5402. Look, people I love and respect, like the Berkeys of the world, tell me this Elander guy's a great baseball guy, and Tony tells me that. And problem is, he's just not Tony. But nobody's Tony. Tony is a tour de force, and Tony's in San Francisco, and he's just being himself. And the media there doesn't know how to take him. I mean, we know how to take him. And we know that he's going to say uninhibited things in interviews. He's going to do unconventional things as a manager. This guy is way too by the book for me. These shifts are driving me crazy. We're people hitting the ball where we're not, where we should be. But he's over there with some nerd that sits there and tells him what to do. I mean, that stuff drives me nuts. But that's all right. I mean, I'll deal with it. I'll complain about it, but I'll deal with it. This is an important series coming up this weekend for these guys. They gotta get a foot in the rung. And the crazy thing is they play tonight, and that's right on you on Thursday. Hey, Matt, why did they only have one Thursday-Saturday series this year? We usually have played a couple, haven't we? Or do they kind of rotate those around the league? Help an ignorant soul like me.
No, they typically rotate them around the league, but Tennessee hasn't played a bunch of them.
Yeah.
They've played a lot more, just the traditional Friday through Sunday. The only reason they did that was to get, some more games on TV.
Yep.
And typically those are, if you've watched them, they're not always the best matchups, because I'm sure there's some contract you have to show each school a certain number of times for every sport during the year. So that's an easy way to do that. Is just throw games on Thursday, and they've done that a bunch. But Tennessee typically maybe has 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Matt Diskin.
Everybody has Thursday through Saturday, the final regular season series, because the tournament begins on Tuesday.
Right. So we got 2 of them this year, right, Brian?
Yes. Yeah. I believe so, yes.
865-200-5402, which means that Willie D will be in here. Willie D. Heflin, a.k.a. the chef. I'm off to give him some... Do they still make Jolt Cola, Matt? He needs a Jolt Cola.
What's the story between him and being called the chef?
I think he can cook. I don't know. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe he burns a can of beans. All 3 lines are currently lit up. They will stay that way throughout. Your phone calls right after this. It's D-Day on the portal, and the baseball team has a critical week here. We'll discuss it all. It's all ahead. Spirited conversation with Matt and Bri. More after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marco Scarza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall.
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench Home Services' $79 seasonal tune-up now before the heat sets in. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 seasonal tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
It's baseball time in Knoxville. Your Knoxville Smokies are back home all this week. We start the week off Tuesday and jump right into our final matinee game on Wednesday with first pitch at 12:30. Thursday is Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers, and the weekend, you know it's rockin' with Feel Good Friday, dancing with the Smokies on Saturday, and post-game fireworks, and it's halfway to Halloween on Sunday. Don't miss a minute of the action. Reserve your seats now at smokiesbaseball.com.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. All right, so it's portal time. We're going to go back to our phones. Nega Dave asked a great question, which is, if we have all this money to play with, why did we let Estrella walk out the door, Matt? I think that's a great question, because we do have a lot of money to play with, Matt. Would you have paid Estrella $4 million like he got at Michigan? Apparently got $4 million from him, Matt.
I mean, if you could, I mean, it sounded like you could have gotten him for 3 or 3.5 on the front end, and he never would have entertained some of that stuff. I mean, maybe that's wishful thinking, but I mean, yeah, it sounds like you have some excess cash. I think Estrella and Amari Evans, like I said it back then, I kind of would have liked to have kept a few of those guys just for that locker room culture type stuff, because when you flip the entire roster like they're doing, you know, you've got to have that buy-in, and it's a lot easier to do that when you have a couple of established guys to kind of lead the way and show guys, because Barnes demands a lot. I know Mari talked about it with the Texas Tech point guard. Like, not everybody's built that way and is used to hard coaching.
Mari told me
I think Estrella and especially Amari Evans, I would have liked to have kept those guys.
Mari's hearing from his sources that Estrella got around $4 million, which is just nuts. Now, who knows how true that is? I have no idea. But, amen. He's got more sources than I do in that stuff. And here's the thing. I agree with Dave, and I agree with Matt. I would have paid Evans, and I'd have paid Estrella. But it's not my dime and my dance floor. And Barnes told his staff, these guys lost 11 games, and we can do better. And we have a mechanism now to do better. It's called the transfer portal, and we trust the judgment that our people inside have made and the judgments, and we think we can get all these people. And they've gone out and gotten them. So back to the phones we go. But Matt is right. Because one thing the Flyers have taught me here, culture people, culture guys, you got to have stars, and you got to have young stars, you got to do all this. But you got to have the Couturiers of the world. You got to have the stars, the solid veteran type players, the culture pieces, so to speak. Back to the phones we go. And Matt's right about that. In any of these endeavors, you got to have culture guys. And anytime you flip a roster and some of your culture guys walk out the door, you could end up, and this is the one thing I'll caution everybody against, you could end up like Kentucky this year. You could throw an all-star team out there. It doesn't fit together. That's always a possibility with any of these teams in this era. That said, I still admire the hell out of these guys for swinging for the fences like they are. And I don't think they're done yet. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with PG1, but I'll reveal that in the next couple days. If that doesn't come there, well, if he doesn't go into the portal tonight, I'll reveal that tomorrow, who they were chasing and how long the flirtation was going on, because it's been going on for quite a while. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, gents. Tony and Matt.
T, I can hardly hear you. If you can get off that, whatever you're on, and I love you. You're my boy. But I can hardly hear you.
Hopefully that's better.
Bang.
Tony.
Lots better.
All right. Is this directionally accurate? NIL roster budget, Tennessee football, $35 million. Basketball, $18 million. I'll pause. Directionally accurate or no?
No. I football, maybe that's what they currently have in their deal right now. But budget-wise, budget's what the head coach asked for. Tennessee's been basically told, you spend what you need to spend this year, we'll figure out a way to cover it. That's where they are budget-wise in hoops right now.
So, in other words, it's well north, in your opinion, of $35 million for football.
Yes.
And probably north of even $20 million for basketball.
I think that's right. But when
baseball,
it's all said and done.
Yeah. Baseball, total swag, $2.5 million.
No
plus
idea.
Or minus, is that?
I have no idea, man. I don't know. That's always been mysterious to me, and here's why, T. Because they have that rev share cut they give them, right? But then Tony always went out. It's peanuts. Tony always went out and did the thing that Barnes is doing now. He got to know people he needed to get to know, and he went to them and said, hey, we need this for this guy. And they covered him. They covered his and then if they didn't, I believe Tony probably put in some of his own money in some of that stuff, T. I really do. He never told me that.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I believe that.
Lady Vols basketball, I hate to even mention that.
Yeah.
If you had to guess, would their NIL spend be higher or lower than UT baseball?
Oh, higher. Yeah, they spent north of $3 million last year on their roster. It was one of the top 5 rosters in the sport.
That ROI was pretty poor, Tony. Last couple of things. The challenge, with Elander, right? We keep saying he's not Vitello. But he's not just not Vitello. He's the opposite side of the coin of Vitello. I mean, their personalities could not be any more bipolar. So anybody expecting Elander to look like, act like, be like Vitello is going to be sorely disappointed. And what Matt said earlier, I would bet the farm that Ross will be ejected multiple times before Elander. I would say it's a safe bet to say Elander won't be ejected in the next 5 seasons if he's here.
Matt, your thoughts on that? Just total polar opposites.
Yeah, that's why Elander was such a great fit as an assistant. And yeah, he's still got to learn how to be a head coach, I think. And he doesn't, he has the spotlight on him, unlike Vitello, who was able to, fly under the radar those first couple of years while making a lot of these, early mistakes as a head coach. And he could even lean on Frank Anderson a lot too, who had been a head coach for a while. So, but yeah, the part about Kivett is absolutely true. Kivett's absolutely a coach that gets ejected first. Kind of surprised it hasn't happened yet this year.
How did Kivett not get ejected with those 3 egregious balks by that lefty at Ole Miss on Sunday afternoon?
I mean, Taylor, what is that? That's a total joke from that lefty, man. Those were absolute balk. I mean, those weren't even close. Those were egregious, man.
Those weren't even subjective.
Those
were black and white balks. A Little League umpire would call that 9 out of 10 times. A Major League umpire is going to call that 100% of the time. Ask Berkey, if you would, next time you talk to him. Is the balk dead in college baseball? Because if that's not a balk, we're never going to call one. Last thing on the way out, parking is two things. Parking is an absolute joke, as Matt mentioned over there. They just subjectively shut down G16 garage based on the underlings there in the parking, transportation, whatever they're called, parking services. They'll just shut it down. There'll be 50 empty spots on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th decks, you name it. They'll shut it down. And then they have another lot, C22, get this, that's first pitch only. I pulled in the other day at 4 o'clock. That's first pitch. You can park there for baseball after first pitch. So I roll in there at 4 o'clock. First pitch is at 4. The gentleman looks at me, and I use gentleman loosely, and says, "You can't park here till first pitch." I go, "Well, it's 4 o'clock. I'm parking." He goes, "Well, no. I've got to hear on the radio. They've got to announce first pitch." I go, "Buddy, you can tell me I'm parking." I mean, that's the type of brain donors you're dealing with over there in parking services.
What are we doing?
You can't make this up, Tony.
Wait a second. You can't park here till first pitch?
So Charlie 22.
I have to miss the game.
So you literally have to show up late, Tony.
If I want to park in that parking lot. And you go to every game, Taylor, like home and away basically, and they're telling you Matt, you got to admit, Matt, that's next level, Matt.
Yeah, ridiculous.
That's like Danny White when they redid the what was it, the fan pattern. This is stuff you can't make up here down through the years. And Danny White's a very bright guy, obviously. But when they redid that fan, had those fences out there, those cattle chute fences they used for the students, and a bat got people trampled. What game was that, guys? Was it the Georgia game this year?
Georgia game.
Danny White, man, he gets things in his head, and he's got nobody around him. And I was told he really is not a fan of me. Danny, I'm kind of a fan of you. You
he hates you, Tony. He despises you.
Danny, you're
his mortal enemy.
Danny, you provide great content. You know why? Because I'm a heart and soul guy, and I will always speak for the fans and call balls and strikes. And he needs 100%. Somebody around him that will call balls and strikes and say, Danny, you can't do that today. People are going to get trampled outside the game. Danny, you can't have a lot that opens and stays. It will only open after first pitch. What are we doing, Danny? You can't do that.
Oh, Danny said, hold my beer. I'm going to lock down G10, and there's going to... And he
did do that.
What is that, G16, the baseball tower?
Yes.
Old Stokely. We're only going to open and allow just one entrance and one exit there, too, and just have as much cluster as we can cause. I mean, it's ridiculous. Last thing, Tony, the great team domination, Matt was right. That was an outlier.
Yes.
Here's the other reason. The superpower of Vitello was recruiting. Great teams, first of all, have way too much attrition. There's a reason why you're going to Omaha is you're stacked, you're loaded. Those kids get drafted, they're gone, or they graduate. Then number two, the portal and NIL makes it impossible for a handful of teams to dominate. So you're going to see this up and down because everybody can buy players, everybody can buy and retain players. So you're not going to see that run, in my opinion, ever again because of what's going on in college athletics. Hey, keep up the great work, Tony. GBO.
Peace. 865-200-5402. Matt, it is kind of funny, the unforced errors down through the years. at our alma mater. It's you have to like appreciate it, right?
Yeah, they've had some incredible press conferences.
Yeah.
Shout out to the butt chugger. That will never be
incredible.
topped.
The butt chugger, the guy that put the boogie on his nose. What was his name?
Yeah, Jimmy Cheek.
Jimmy Cheek, who went from his cheek to his nose, back of his back, not his nose. I'm sorry, the back of his ear. My bad.
Yeah,
and then
we've not talked about the parking for baseball and
Tell
stuff.
me about the parking.
Like Taylor said, that first pitch availability. I thought that was a typo when I saw that in some releases.
So they put that out. They've put that out.
Yeah.
What?
That's very, very true. The other thing they've done that's really odd, and I can't quite understand it, is they have a bunch of people working inside the garage next to the baseball stadium, like directing traffic when it's essentially just one way, and it's kind of self-explanatory on how you pull into a lot and park. They have like 3 or 4 people on each row or on each level, and out front, like doing, I don't know what they're doing, but they are hired to direct traffic when it's a parking garage and people know how to park.
Danny White reads our blog every day, which is kind of comical. So now I'm starting to put in there like, Danny, you need to, like this thing with the baseball students. And he's got people monitoring the show because it's a show of record. Danny, you guys have to figure out a way to get some life back in your stadium. You build a $140 million stadium. I realize you're all about revenue. As Matt Dixon said, it's a bad idea to take the students and put them in a spot where they cannot affect the game. And Danny, if you were the AD at Duke, by your logic, you would take the kids off that floor. And if you took the kids off that floor, Duke would cease being Duke. And Tennessee baseball ceased having a real advantage when you took those students away from the back of that dugout. And look, if you're a ticket buyer and you're sitting in the back of that dugout, I'm not knocking you, but you're never going to provide the atmosphere, the uninhibited atmosphere that those kids did in the first couple rows, Legends of Lindsay. And when Tony won his first series, he jumped right into those kids. I don't know what you would call that somersault he did into that group of kids that day, but that was one of the nuttiest, craziest sporting events I've ever seen. I mean, Matt, the electricity in there that night was really something, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's where you launched the program into that run. Was that night against Wright State? Absolutely. You went on a 5-year heater there that is very few programs have ever been on in the sport, and it's at a time where it's as competitive and as tough to win in this league as it's ever been. And you are at the top of not just the league, but the sport for 5 years.
Back to it's really was something. I mean, you had to. Was that the Liberty game, Matt, when they won it was when they beat LSU, wasn't it? Which game was that? Do you all remember?
The Wright State ones when it went bananas.
Wright State is bananas.
He did do something like that in the Liberty game.
Because we were out in the outfield, right, Brian? We were out in the outfield.
I was the one game I went to in the regional.
Yeah.
And I saw that when it happened.
He jumped it's crazy. My brother Steve is my special needs brother Steve, who calls me like every day. We talk all the time. And it was so weird. I went to pick him up that summer. It's like July of that year. And this kid is there and he's delivering food, college student. And he has a Liberty shirt on. And I say to him, hey, your baseball team. He goes, I was there. I was in Knoxville. He was like, that place was wild being there as an opposing student or as an opposing player. He said, that was so much fun for us. You talk about a small world. But I was getting ready to go get my brother, and this guy was bringing food to him, to his group home. We go back to the phones, 86. And by the way, thank you to anybody that works with our special people among us. You've got my heart so much. I love you. You have no idea. I love you so much. Let's go back to our phones. On a Tuesday, where we're kicking it around here, like Matt said, that burn part of Vitello was not real. You were never sustaining that. And this 13 and whatever that record is that Brian pointed out, what's the number, Brian? 13 and 21. This isn't real either in our building.
Yeah, they're 7 and 13,
7
15 and 23.
Yeah, that's not
overall
real.
in SEC games since that.
That's not real. That's not who these guys are going to be. But they're having a weird, when you win a national championship, it takes a sting out of the deal. It just does. Look at LSU
I think that
right
takes
now.
away some of the fans' rowdiness a little bit.
I think
the
that's
edge they
true
have.
too. I think that's true too, Brian. Once you climb the top of the mountain, we saw that in '98 here. I remember Saban complaining during his time at Bama. Why are people leaving early? I mean, people are bored. You won all the time, Nick. I mean, Nick, you haven't started smiling. Nick, since you got on ESPN. You found your smile again, like Shawn Michaels back in the 90s when he found his smile again. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. It's Holly.
Hey, Holly. Welcome in.
Well, I'm glad we're talking about baseball because I'm just about worn out with the portal and the basketball team. I'm thrilled for them, but wears me out, and I don't understand it, and I'm so sick of talking about money. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about baseball. And most of everything you guys have said, I totally agree with. But, I keep thinking about where we are now and how it feels as opposed to where we were, I guess, in what I call the glory days. But, I'm glad that, we got our coach. I'm glad that Elander's our coach, but he is so different than Tony V. It is unbelievable. I just hope that the powers that be at the UT Athletics are, quote, on it. I think that, anybody with a brain, whether Elander is the coach or someone else, has to know this is going to be a tough year when we lost Tony V. He's not coming back. He was an icon. He always will be an icon. And Elander was, I think, the right pick. But he, just like Matt and Brian said, he couldn't be, at least from my perspective, any different to Tony V than anybody. I mean, it's like salt and pepper. He is unbelievably different. And I hope that somebody in the PR department can work with him. He doesn't need to be Tony V, just like everybody said. There is only one. But he's got a great story. And he needs to be worked with. He is first of all, he's a great coach. He's got a great history. If anybody's kept up with him, I don't know why they don't do PR stores, and maybe he doesn't want to do them, but he has a precious family. He's a girl dad. He has 3 little girls that show up to every game and are just, it is the cutest thing. Well, people like those little human interest stories. That's why they do them on ESPN and all that stuff. And somebody has got to get in there and work with that. I think it's got to be a multi-pronged approach when we've got a team, we've got our reputation, we can still get great players, great coaches, get that all worked out.
Yeah.
But there's somebody in the athletic department, and I'm no fan of Dr. Dollar because I think he is a consummate bean counter.
Yep.
He doesn't know anything else. I think he's probably very, very good at that, and it makes me sad because that's why he's not going anywhere because of the budgets and how he handles all that, which is important. But it's critical. I remember a couple of years ago when, I guess they were building the baseball stadium, and the kids were over. I guess they had finally built what you call the cattle chute for the kids.
Yep.
And I was looking at that, and I was like, what in the world? And I thought, they're putting the kids over there. Well, at first I thought, okay, that could get really rowdy, and that could be really good. It's a little too far away, but that might be really fun if you could make it a party atmosphere. The best I could tell, and I don't go to every game, obviously, because I'm in West Tennessee, was never developed. It was never, party central for the kids. It was just go over there, shut up, and stand. You get a free ticket. I don't like that. Never have liked it. Those kids, even if I had all the money in the world and had a box seat, I still think that the kids come first. I think they got to have special sections. I remember that when I was in college, and I never missed a game. And, I mean, it's made me partly who I am. But they've got to do something with that cattle shig. Now, when the tickets start not selling as well to all the big people that are over, like behind the dugout and all that, is it even possible for the athletic department to say, okay, we're going to start sprinkling back the kids to get the razzmatazz going?
Well, I mean, you could do that, like the down, or you could just put an announcement out like they did this year, where they displaced a bunch of people in basketball, and they had kind of this is what we're doing. We're going to go with a what do they call that thing, Matt? That club underneath the arena, that brim closet. The
Riverside Club.
Yeah, the Riverside Closet. And listen, I realize they got to raise money. I realize that they overspent for the stadium. I realize all that stuff. But you've basically bitten off your nose, and in my case, that would be a meal. But you've bitten off maybe 2 meals. You've bitten off your nose to spite your face, Holly. You can't do that.
Well, there has to be a balance here.
Right.
You know, I'm very much respectful of all of the donors that make so many things possible. Absolutely.
Yes.
And even though I'm not a Danny White fan, I respect the fact that
got to raise money.
Bean counter
Sure. Sure.
That's got to be a thing. But the other stuff is equally important.
Right.
And we have seen through years and years, all of us oldies, how teams win close games, and sometimes not close games, by it's not necessarily the money. Yes, they have good players, but it's the atmosphere and the people that come and get rowdy and you know, have a coach that gets people inspired and, you know, all of that stuff. And what I worry about is that side of the fence is not being looked at. We knew this year would be a down, or I did. I thought it was going to be to me, it's a sad year. I mean, I'm involved for life, so I'll watch them forever. But I knew we would have people that would drop off just because of their love for Tony and blah, blah, blah. But you look at it and you're thinking, if somebody's not doing something behind the scenes, we're going to be in trouble. And I also believe that, too. I'm worried because baseball doesn't make money. And our head being counter is all about, okay, you make money, we got to make profit, I got to come in on budget, you know, not only on budget but higher. And I feel like that perhaps we're at a real turning point that, you know, okay, are we going to make sure this team thrives and we put an extra oomph in it because we were national champions, and I don't think that's anything to sneeze at.
Nope.
I still remember being national champions of football in '98.
Yep.
And I can still talk about all of those games.
Yep.
And how close they were. Well, I will be doing the same thing about the national championship team and then the team the year before that should have gone to probably won the national championship.
Holly, I think you brought a great perspective. You always do. I appreciate your call. And I find you next level. She started calling us when she was in Florida. Oh, she had a curiosity shop in Florida. And I've met her a few times. She's a sweetheart. She comes to a couple Calhoun's on the Rivers programs. By the way, we're going to be at Calhoun's on Friday this week. Making it happen with you. With the greatest of ease, G. But great call by Holly. And she brings up some interesting points. Matt, the bottom line is Josh Elander's not going to be Tony Vitello. We don't need him to be. But it sure would help. It sure would help if they start winning some baseball games.
Yeah, that cures all.
Yep.
Let's hope this team figures some things out down the stretch.
Yep.
And, yeah, that would be nice. Let's take 2 out of 3 from Bama this weekend.
And in the meantime, go ahead, Brian.
About the students, I asked the guy from Mississippi State what they did there. He said he didn't think they actually had a particular section for the students that they go out to where the general admission is on the lawn and bring chairs, or they just mix with the left field lounge, is what he said. And it sort of makes me think Ole Miss may do something similar with the beer garden.
That's correct.
In right field with the student. That's probably where all the students are for their game.
The Jude yesterday who called us, hey Jude, who called us yesterday, he shared yesterday that why don't they put us right above the bullpen or right out there where the bullpen is for the opposing team, where we could at least affect and razz and get in the game that way. Where they are right now, out in right field and in their cattle chute. First of all, the cattle chute looks painfully uncomfortable, Matt. It looks painfully uncomfortable. I mean, I look at those kids sitting.
No seat and no shade.
No seat and no shade. I mean, yeah. And I asked the kid, I said, do they provide you guys drinks? He goes, are you kidding? I said, don't they give you like a few drink tickets with your... He said, you got to be kidding, right? And again, a person like me and a person like Danny White are never going to agree. Like, we will look at... I'm artistic. He's not. I'm artistic. He's not. And we're never going to agree. And so I'm always going to think about the fan and fan accommodation, and he's always going to think about how do I jam more money in my pocket and make my resume look better for my next stop. I'm always going to think about how do I make my community in Knoxville better. He's always going to think about how do I pad my resume. No offense.
And these ADs have been to multiple schools in 5 years.
They don't care.
Ross Bjork's been to 3. They have no emotional tie to where they're at.
They could care less.
And they never will. And you'll get rid of Danny White and somebody else will come on just like him to replace him.
They're hired guns. And that's all right. But here's the thing. He reads a blog every day. We have an influential voice on him. There's no question. How do I know he reads? We see the IPs. Trust me when I tell you that. Just trust me when I tell you that. 865-200-5402. And Jude yesterday, he took a sad show and he made it better. Apparently it was sad. Bino told me I needed red Heine pills. And then I told you a story in the third hour about what happened to me on Sunday. And Matt has cut it up. I'll share it with you. And Matt, just so people don't think that yesterday's story in the third hour was a radio work, did I or did I not screenshot you something from a listener, a feller in Halls that saw me walking out of the store with money affixed to my hat after I had shattered a bottle of hot sauce right in a grocery store right in front of these two young kids, one of whom was working her first day at the register. Yes or no, Matt?
Yes. You had
true story.
We had a first-hand account from a listener that didn't see the spill, but saw the cleanup afterwards after you had left,
and saw me from across the parking lot with a piece of
saw you in the parking lot, and then went in and saw the cleanup taking place
with money sticking out my back.
Yes, and he even verified that Joshua Boy didn't put fresh lettuce out too.
No, it wasn't Joshy Boy's store. I don't mix business with pleasure. I went to a closer store. I don't want to call them out here, but they were having a rough day on their produce because he brought brown lettuce home and he got yelled at. And you and I
probably don't have a truck come in there until Monday.
Brian breaking it down scientifically. Brian, go.
Oh, you got old 6-day-old lettuce.
Brian breaking it down scientifically. Matt, what do you think?
Hey, for our logistics needs on here, we go to Brian.
As we continue with more on the other side, I got a break, a timeout, just when things are heating up. Let's heat them down. Stay right there in 2 and 2 Chuck Woolery after this. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. Waterside Contracting, LLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
college football fans. Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game in the year of the World Cup in North America. Celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka. Handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times. 80 proof of vodka delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. Bada bang.
Please, Basilio family, get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Please let it be true. Brian Hartman, you were talking about a rumor percolating in the NBA. Please let it be true. Hit it, Brian.
I saw a report that if Steve Kerr retires, steps down as coach of the Golden State Warriors, that they were going to come after Todd Golden. So Todd Golden could follow Tony Vols to the San Francisco area after 2 years after winning a natty, potentially, if that's true.
Back to the phones we go. Matt, do you consider Todd Golden an elite basketball coach? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. How does Florida keep doing that?
Pretty dang good.
How does Florida keep doing that? Nothing that the guy did at San Francisco said he was going to do this.
No, they just identified the right guy and right traits and didn't focus strictly on the end result. No, that was a great hire, and he's a great young coach. I mean, they've been a one seed 2 years in a row. You know, they won a natty and had an even better regular season the following year. Just didn't have a tournament backcourt like they did with the year before. I mean, they would have lost to UConn in the second round without Walter Clayton last year. But yeah, he's an elite coach.
Back to the phones we go. 865-200-5402 is the numero dos. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
How you doing, Tony?
Hey, Billy, stay right there. Hang right. Hello, welcome in. You're on the air. Billy, you're a third-hour caller. Hey, welcome in.
Tony B, listen here, bro.
Another third-hour caller.
You better leave Danny White alone because he's going to whip your little gimlet ass if you don't leave him alone.
Oh, now he's got. I'll tell you what. Danny White looks good in a medium shirt, but I've been working out, brah.
Hey, well, I know you talking about him now. So guess what? When a man finds out you're talking about Tony B, he's going to come out to you.
He reads a blog every day.
Yeah, I know, man. But listen here, bro. You're right about it. You're right about that, though. You're right about it.
Well, you gotta love on the common fan, man. You gotta, not everything that counts can be counted, okay? And pulling the students off the field in that baseball stadium has altered it. It's taken the essence away from it. And Matt's right to point that out. It's sterile in that place now.
Yeah, it is, man. And let me tell you something about Golden, man. I'm pretty
great coach.
Y'all pretty smart, bro, but y'all don't get it.
It's an awesome coach.
It's about the culture, bro. It's about the culture.
Well, I mean, look,
here's how you getting them.
Here's the thing. Florida did a really good job of scouting him. He does a really good job of scouting co-eds. And somebody on his staff does a really good job of scouting basketball players. There's a lot of good scouting going on all the way around there at Florida with Peeping Todd.
I just don't understand why you had to go to the low road, man.
What low road?
The low road you always take.
Well, I don't understand what low road. I didn't do it.
You went low on the man, bro.
I don't. Hey, listen. I haven't been seen in my neighbor's bushes with a pair of binoculars or a Pentax camera. That wasn't me, brah.
All I'm saying is, has he been convicted of anything, man? You innocent until proven guilty, man?
No, but this is talk radio. I'm not worried about whether a guy's convicted or not.
Man. Hey, listen.
Hey, let me ask you that. Let me ask you this. Did he sue that student newspaper or get a retraction from them? Let me help you out with that. The answer is no. The answer is no. Let me help you with that. The answer is no. But what he did do is go off and win a national championship. And when you go off and win a national championship, guess what? Like Matt said, winning cures what, Matt? What's it cure? Oh, and it even makes stories like that go away.
Hey, well, look here. Well,
yeah.
You ain't won one in 100 years, but you know what I'm saying? That's why y'all
listen.
about your players.
Listen, I think the guy's a talented, excellent coach. I think he and Dusty May, the two guys that have won it the previous 2 years. Also, the other guy, Danny Hurley's a great coach. There's a lot of great young coaches in the sport right now. Todd Golden's one of them, but Brian's right. The Golden State Warriors, they want that guy. He was very, very, very popular at San Francisco and apparently popular with the ladies, too.
Hey, man, listen. Hey, bro, you something wrong with you, bro.
What do you mean?
Forget all the noise. Forgive all the noise, man. In the background, man. I had a fire at my house and people walking in and out cleaning.
Fire in your house?
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Last week, man. Yeah, everybody good, man. Everybody good.
Do you need any help? Do you need any help from the audience?
No, man, no.
Are you sure?
No. Yeah, I'm positive, man. Thank you, though, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, I love you, man. We love you, brother.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, we love you, Hank.
But we gonna always be the number one hated team in the city of Knoxville.
Florida? Now listen, your football program doesn't even exist anymore to us.
We'll see in 2027.
You don't even make bowl games now.
We'll see in 2027.
Brian, what happened to that Florida team last time they got in a bowl game? Refresh his memory, Brian.
I think they played Tulane a couple years ago, and they played in a bowl game against Tulane and before Christmas. That tells you where they've been lately.
Yeah, you play before Christmas.
Yeah. Hey, y'all sure know how to kick a brother when he's down. So guess what?
Yep. Hey, give me an update. I want a Megatron update. This guy's got a child. He calls Megatron. We sung Happy Birthday to this young man. You need to bring him down to Calhoun's on Friday and let Uncle Bino buy his lunch. Uncle Bino will buy him lunch after his comments about me yesterday.
I will, man. I'll bring him down there, man. But Megatron's doing good, man. They had a spring workout at Catholic yesterday, man. They were impressed with him, bro.
So Megatron's on Catholic's radar. How old is he right now?
He just turned 12, man.
So 12 is what grade's a young man in?
He'll be in 6th grade, buddy.
Going in 6th grade. So is he going to try to get on their middle school football?
Yeah, they don't have a middle school football. Catholic has a middle school football, but the school he go to Cedar Bluff. But we're trying to get Catholic. But yeah, we're going to play middle school football.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something about Megatron. If we can arrange it, can we get a workout with the Vols? Can we get him on the Vols radar?
I'll let you do it because he can catch everything. I'm telling you, I'll let you do it. You know what? I'm doing it for you, Tony B. I'm doing it for you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you. But he'll like it. I mean, you know what I mean? They're going to like what they see in him.
Coastal Vol says the following on YouTube, Florida. I'm in Florida. There are a lot more UCF and USF fans down here than Florida Gator fans. Some of these folks have some real brain power around me. How about that, Florida?
Yeah. I tell you what, Tony.
Yeah.
You know things don't go too good down in Florida with all that stuff they do down there, buddy.
Well, Florida, we have a new huge audience. We need to do a wrap-off redux. Matt, would you sign off on that? A wrap-off redux with Florida and Rapper Andy?
Oh, absolutely, I will.
Could build,
I would love for those guys to drop a second verse.
You see, I do not sing, but I'll make a song. You live your whole life, and I hope you live long. Come on,
maybe
Calvin.
You won't throw it away permanently
this time. We could do it, brother. You see,
man, you got to change the judges, man. Y'all was kind of biased last year, bro. About 3 years ago, y'all was kind of biased.
Well, I just couldn't believe.
Change the judges, man.
Well, I just couldn't believe. See, he came with some dope stuff. I couldn't believe what you were doing, man. I was like, "What up with that?" Your stuff was. How do I put this?
Yeah.
Kind of like this phone call. Nah, you're my man, Florida. Love you, brother. Hey, good luck with that fire. Please reach out and let me know if you guys need anything, because we're here for you. That's what a radio family's for. We're here to pick each other up. You did get hammered in that rap-off, though. Rapper Andy twisted him in knots, Matt. And then a few short months later, rapper Andy came on and did the Tennessee Tornado before our trip to Oklahoma when we went down there and won. And then Phillies John and his boys came on Garza Law, Tennessee, fifth quarter fan reaction in a, shall we say, inebriated state. And we're reciting the lyrics back to us, Matt. Do you remember that in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Yes.
How could I forget? I absolutely remember that.
We have history with each other around here, you see. This is I'm not lying to you. It was like 2:30 in the morning. Those guys drove back to like Memphis and called us, and they were doing the Tornado back to us. They were, rapper Andy's lyrics were literally, they went viral to that group of Vol fans. Cool. Rapper Andy gets it done. Those diss tracks he does when we get ready to go to opposing gyms and opposing arenas, and fans hear that, you know what they're thinking to themselves. They're thinking, we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble when we hear the rapper Andy. Because the man, look, from one artist to another, because what we do here is art, okay? From one artist to another, I say, let's go. Do you like, Bri, how rapper Andy says, let's go? Because I'm going to do it real quick. I just want to say, let's go.
I like it better than what I just heard. Yes.
All right. So, and rapper Andy's lyrics that day toward Florida were insane. And then Florida came back, and Florida, as they used to say when we were kids, you was bugging. I don't think they say that anymore, but anyway. You see, I do not sing, but I'll make a song. We come, okay. So I got to exit the radio show. I'm like losing myself here. I'm getting lost in my silliness again. The playbook with William Patterson's on the way next. We're going to hit the reset button, get the calls in. I got to talk about this portal stuff real quick. What we think's getting ready to happen. Because I still think Tennessee's swinging. They're on the phone with some agents. Will they get home today as they work the phones? Or will point guard one jump into that portal? I have no idea. I do know they are trying. And I do know that they are a heavy hitter in this thing right now. A heavy hitter. A power hitter, so to speak. William Patterson hit it. You got to dream about buying some land. Wrong. William Patterson hit it.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Always have a dream about buying some land. All right, so, Matt, did you hear any of the overtime yesterday, and did you find it goofy?
I heard it. It was outstanding radio, which means it was absolutely goofy. It was a great one.
It was totally illiterate. And Bill yesterday told his story about eating Dorothy Doolittle's roast beef, which will never be forgotten by this living fan. And he leads off the overtime segment.
That was Julie Herman, Tony. She was the former head volleyball coach over there, the former administrator over there at UT, and the former athletic director at Rutgers.
All right, let me share something
with
you.
Julie Herman.
Let me share something with you that the great Tom Guffon sent me. Did you realize that Julie Herman, the Newark Star-Ledger, during her tenure at Rutgers, dug up that Herman quit as a head women's coach at Tennessee 16 years ago after all 15 of her players at the time, in a letter, accused her of calling them whores, alcoholics, and learning disabled. Matt, had you ever heard that Julie Herman had quit in disgrace here? Because several people told me that yesterday, and I thought there's no way that woman rose to become the AD at Rutgers, but that's what happened. Have we ever heard that story? Brian, have you ever heard that? I've been around here for 30 years. I had
never heard of Julie Herman before yesterday, and
yes,
that explains why Rutgers athletic department's gone into debt like they have, and they're minus however many million is, 50 million or something like that.
I mean, and you ate the woman's roast beef, and she said whores, alcoholics, and called her players learning disabled. A letter signed by 15 of her players from the time. And then, of course, her ex-colleagues came out and defended her, which is always going to happen. I'm convinced that coaches, this is from Andy Katz in 2013, former women's volleyball assistant coach and a number of staffers at Louisville came to defense of new Rutgers athletic director Julie Herman on Sunday, denying the allegations of mistreatment made by her former Vol players, one of whom went on the record on Monday. I was in every huddle, involved in every volleyball substitution, and what they're saying is absolutely crazy. Who was Kim Tibbetts, who was an assistant coach under her. Very odd development. Again, I'm back to this, Matt. Only here, Matt, do we have a guy that literally drank wine. He needed Intraveno, and he needed it every day. And he did it, Matt, where? What cavity was he drinking wine from, Matt? Refresh my memory. While he was wearing his Ray-Ban sunglasses. And what fraternity was it, Matt? Do you remember?
I can't. I don't want to butcher it. So it was Pi Kappa Alpha. Maybe I can't remember. I'm not big on that.
But they would lay this fellow upside down, and he would drink a boxed wine out of his rectum. Yes or no?
Yes, I think the Tour de Francia.
Okay,
that's what they called it.
What is it?
It was like Tour de Francia or something. I can't remember. That press conference is so great.
And God, Julie Herman called her players, Bill, what? Allegedly. Whores and stuff. Yeah. I mean, what do we do?
And I also believe she used the volleyball as a dodgeball. She threw those volleyballs.
Yeah.
Right at her players.
And Bill,
what I understood.
And Bill, you ate the woman's roast beef. Did you know that?
She deserves roast beef sandwiches for life. That's all she deserves to eat.
Bill, did you know that she was like that when you were partaking?
That had been already half chewed up by somebody else.
I did not know that until you and the clone reported it.
Oh, the clone told you about it?
Yeah, both you and the clone.
So the clone texted you last night?
No. I think this was several years ago.
You remember that story?
Yeah, I remember.
I don't remember it. Brian, do you remember that story?
And look,
I'd never heard of Julie Herman before yesterday, I don't remember that story.
I do remember the kid that had the meeting, and all those kids were wearing their Ray-Ban sunglasses. All you frat kids, I love every one of you.
I remember that. Now, I do remember that.
Y'all haven't changed in 50 years. Those frat kids look exactly the same as they did when I was on campus, as they did in 1930. You guys always figure out a way to hit the collective look. No offense. I'm not here to crack on you if you're in a fraternity or a sorority or whatever. But I'm just kind of speaking it the way the rest of us non-Greeks say it. But I do like feta cheese.
Got this. They got new digs for the sororities. It's very nice. But the poor frat guys, they look like their places are still stuck in where WLN was there.
Oh yeah, they're slumming. And speaking of WLN, Matt, we have breaking news. Holly was shooting her shot in the YouTube chat with W. Lynn. Did you see that, Matt, earlier?
Yeah, I was made aware of that. So good on you, Holly.
Holly said that she would like to accompany W. Lynn to a baseball game. She said, "No, I'm happily married." Bill, do you remember? Bill, what are you watching? What am I hearing there in the background?
I am watching Law and Order SVU on the USA Network.
Who starred in Law and Order SVU?
Mariska Hargitay.
Okay.
Who happens to be the daughter of Jane Mansfield, the late, great Jane Mansfield.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And Peter Salvino, well, he's sort of an Italian guy who plays the role of a district attorney.
Hey, Bill, question.
So that's who I'm...
Bill, question for you. You who was that woman? Her mother was whom?
Jane Mansfield.
Did you realize that Jane Mansfield, who played a kind of a dumb blonde, was a really brilliant woman with a really high IQ, who was also a tremendous pianist? Did you realize she was extremely talented musically?
Yeah.
You knew that about Jane Mansfield?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw a YouTube thing one night on her on the crash that killed her. She lived kind of a hard life, Bill.
Yes, she did. She certainly did.
But you were getting ready to say, go ahead, and then I got to go because I got callers.
Okay. I have added somebody to my women of color list. Gayle King. She is the host of CBS Mornings, which also stars Nate Burleson, who is an ex-Detroit Lion.
Gayle King wears those big, funny, like blue, green, pink, yellow, fruit stripe. She wears like crazy-looking glasses, Bill. How do you think I'd look in a pair of those, Bill? Because Laura was telling me that I ought to lean into the bald look, Bri, and get some colored eyeglasses, like the big colored frames that the guys wear now. What do you think of that, Bri?
I just say get all the $1 bills out of your fedora first, and then you can do whatever you want.
Let's go!
And the one thing, Tony, you have two of these ex-broadcast journalists that are hosting game shows. Meredith Vieira.
Right.
And Deborah Norville.
Deborah Norville hosted a game show?
Yeah.
What was it called?
I think it's called, let's see here now. It's on the CW. Let me check it out.
Deborah Norville is hosting a game show?
Yeah. I am not pulling your dead blasted leg. It's called The Perfect Line, and I'm watching her right now.
Wow.
And I think coming up next will be Meredith Vieira. He hosts a show called 25 Words or Less, something like that. Let's see here now.
Hey, Bill? Bill?
Yeah.
Judging by your phone calls, you couldn't make it on that show.
I don't believe I could make it either.
You think Bill could be on a show called 25 Words or Less? Brian Hartman? How loud? Hey, Matt, how loud is what's going on in the background? Bill's turned it up for this little part.
It's talking over Brian.
Bring us in.
I mean, nobody watches more TV than Titans Bill.
No question.
Nobody. And he goes from all ends of the spectrum of it.
The spectrum. Hey, Bill. Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Quick question for you.
Okay.
Top 5 shows top 3 shows right now on BET. Top 3.
Okay. Sisters, Divorced Sisters, The Oval, and All the Queen's Men, starring Ava Marcel, who used to be one of the members of the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Did you say Divorced Sisters?
Yes, Divorced Sisters. That's a new thing. And it's a Tyler Perry project.
That
Just
sounds
the same as The Oval, Sisters, and All the Queen's Men.
That sounds like some real brain food, Bill.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Tyler Perry is the Rembrandt when it comes to these programs. And I believe, Kyle Blackburn will tell you the same thing.
What's that?
And so will Holt.
Why do you evoke Tyler, Kyle Blackburn and Ann Holt, who are a couple of my brothers and sisters in the audience? Why do you evoke their names, Bill, when you're talking about BET? What about Bino?
Yeah, Bino too. Because I believe probably that Ann Holt and I think Ann Holt is a big fan of BET.
Brian,
I could be wrong, but I don't believe I am.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Bill.
And I know you're going to cut me off, which wouldn't surprise
Cut you
me.
off, Bill. Cut you off? I mean, are you kidding? Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Cattle shoot Muppet.
Cattle shoot. That's pretty good. Cattle shoot. You popped me. That's art right there. You know what? You probably pumped, let me think, about 475 in the phone booth. And, you get credit for that. You get a little bit of credit for that. Hey, Brian, check your text. 865-200-5402. We've got some heat with Danny White on social media. Bri, do you like when we have heat? You like heat, Bri, in the marketplace? Is it good or fun? Or?
When is there not heat between somebody and somebody else? It's every day.
What are we doing?
The heat stays fresh. That's the good thing about it.
Yeah, we always keep the heat fresh around here. Yeah, the roast beef story thing, I think we ought to cut that out from yesterday's show, but we did cut out the supermarket story. I'm telling you, that girl, I had no idea I had money sticking out of the back of my hat. I must have looked like a total complete. I'm not exactly what you'd want to call, how can I say this gently about myself? Help me out, Matt. I'm not exactly what you would call blank looking anyway. What would you call that, Matt? Normal? What is normal? Think about what normal is. You've heard the last 8 or 9 calls on here. What's normal?
Nothing about you or the show is normal. You're very, very unique. In a lot of ways, good and bad.
Brian's response. Back to the phones we go. Somebody in the media has heat with Danny White, and it isn't me, which is kind of fun. But anyway, we'll go back to
you use that term. Media can be used loosely in this case.
Hey, man, media is media. The way I look at media today. Now, social media is not media because social media is neither social nor is it media. That's fun. Like this YouTube thing is a great way for people to get to know each other and for us to kind of hang out each day. And there's value in that. There's value in that. But there are people in there telling me Tennessee's not chasing a point guard, and I know damn right well they are. How do I know? I'm talking to those people. How do they know? They're talking to somebody else. How do I know they don't know? Because they're telling me that there's and listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I had a guy in there a second ago say to me, well, this thing about point guard one, you just totally made it up. Bullshit. I ain't making anything up. There's nothing in it for me to make anything up. Why in the world would I want to make something up? Yeah, you know, this has been really good for you because you've like led people on. I'm telling you what I think's happening in real time. And the twists and the turns and the twists and the turns and the... Duke Harris going to come here if he doesn't play in the NBA. I mean, you can put that down. I told you it's going to take a while. So what are you hearing now? What are you reading? What did I tell you last week about this? And he might do something by the end of this week. He might just call it, or middle of the week. He might just say, you know what, screw this. I'm tired of people asking me about it. I'm going to UT. But y'all are idiotic, some of you. Matt thinks Matt, you think I pay attention to those people too much?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
But it is kind of fun, though. They are sort of fun. And they're
They
funny.
can be, yeah.
And they're funny. Hey, Matt, Brian, if Golden leaves, does Donovan go back to Florida? What do you think, Brian?
That could be a domino. The dominoes are starting to take their shape.
He could never be what she was once to me. Hall & Oates, She's Gone. Great jam from 73. Their voices, everything about that song, everything about it is incredible. Hello and welcome in. Let's get our next call in. You're on the air.
What's up, Tom? It's Lee.
Hey, Lee, man. How we doing, buddy?
Hey, we're doing good, man.
Not too bad. Have you survived the portal, my brother?
Man, this thing is crazy, man. Now we got all these like players with no eligibility jumping in.
I love that.
Like, it's the whole fifth year thing.
Yep.
Like
Aberdeen saying, "Give me my fifth." Okay, Aberdeen, sure. You know, you got your fifth.
Yeah, it's wild, man. I mean, just looking at this thing, there's so many teams that still have so many holes, like in need.
Yep. Like halves. Halves with a lot of money, Lee. Kansas, Kentucky. You go right down the list. North Carolina. And they can't get anybody to take their money. What about the kid that Tennessee kicked the tires on, the kid from Auburn, that Kentucky was going to lay a bag on him? Like, and he's like, and he was way off their radar, but they had settled on, hey, we got to show our fans something. And he's at St. John's now, Lee. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, here's the thing with all these needs, with all these teams, like I don't really think the talent pool in the portal is all that great. It's way down from what it was last year. There's good players, don't get me wrong, that are in it for sure, but it's nowhere near what it was last year.
That's why Tennessee's hit a home run here, man. They've gone out and knocked it out of the park, and they're not done, and they're not going to fool with point guards. I don't think they're already in the portal. I think they're going to try to talk somebody into the deal.
No, I agree, man, because with what these kids are getting paid this portal, I think I've heard estimated values like 65% more on average or something like that for players that I don't really think are worth it, to be honest. But that's why I think what Tennessee did was really – look, I think the Harrelson kid is extremely undervalued. I mean, I think people that know he's a really nice player. I think had he played for somebody other than a lousy Notre Dame team, I think his name would have been much, much bigger. Like, he would be right up there at the top of everybody's like portal boards, because this kid was just a freshman last year, and I don't remember many freshmen in college basketball that have that type of game that he has. That like are as physical as he was, getting to the rim, like just. I mean, he's a demon, man. Like getting fouled, getting to the free throw line, like.
Hey, Matt, have you looked into this guy? Because you know who he reminds me of, which is C's comp for him. He's a more physical version of J.P. Prince, Matt. Imagine a player like that in a Rick Barnes type system, where they're going to let him have some free flow play, let him control the ball some, and like Lee's saying, this guy will get downhill and he will absolutely finish in your face. He will slam it on you. We haven't had a guy like him in a while. I'll tell you what, Lee. This kid from VCU, I don't know if we've had a guy that can score like this dude in a while. This guy's a dynamic, can score from so many different places. We just got to find somebody that can bring it all together now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think that the word obviously got out on Hill in the North Carolina game in the tournament.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's incredible. When you talk about like Hill and Lundblade and Day, I mean, those are like three pure scorers / shooters. You know, and I think that the Ames kid, I'm a little curious how he fits into the offense, because he's really good in transition, like really good in pick and roll. And those aren't like Tennessee things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'll kind of be more of like a sniper, like running him off the ball, like, you know, shooter. But they'll find a way to make it work. The Ames kid got really. He originally committed to Virginia, like under Bennett, and then he left and he stayed under Sanchez, and that was a disaster for everybody. But last year he really showed out, I thought, at Cal, like it showed what kind of player he is. So, I think it's a really damn good roster, man. What they've already got.
Can you explain to me how Ames was going to work under Tony Bennett at Virginia? He's not his kind of player at all, unless Tony Bennett had decided, I'm going to shuffle the deck and we're going to play offense.
Yeah, it was a really weird fit to begin with, like why he went to go play under Bennett, I thought. But, yeah, he got lost in the sauce when Bennett left. Everybody on that team did. But I thought he was great last year for Cal. Like, I think that's a really underrated kid. And I don't think you paid those guys like Harrelson and Ames. Like, I think a lot of guys are going to get paid a lot more than those two, and the production ain't going to be there.
Hey, Lee, this thing right now, okay, as it currently stands, they have a great team already. You add Juki Baby to it, which I think is going to happen unless he goes to the NBA. I think if he plays in college ball, he's playing here. That's what Tennessee thinks. And then you add just a very good point guard to what they have. This team is going to be the best we've seen in the Barnes era, isn't it?
So I think, like in a vacuum, like looking at these individual pieces, I think yes. So like the big question is not just for Tennessee, but all of these basketball teams is like, how does it all mesh? Like, how does it all fit as a group, as a team?
Yep.
Like, you know, you never really know until you see it. There's a lot of examples of it working out and a lot of examples of it not.
Yes.
I think this coaching staff knows what they're doing. I think they had a very specific plan. I just don't think they're throwing money at just random pieces.
Right.
So I tend to believe that. I tend to lean towards it's probably going to work out pretty well. Like,
it could backfire. It could but I'm just talking about when you look at it on paper. And you look at what other teams are doing, and then you look at how it looks like there's about, and I don't know how we've gotten here so quick in men's basketball, but it looks like there's about 10 teams trying to win a national championship. I'm going to blog on that later in the week. And then all of a sudden, the Kansases and the Kentuckys look like runaround cars. Lee, how did we get here?
I think that's right. Yeah. I mean, again, it's just a different era. You know, it's just a different era. But I think you're right. I think there's a handful of teams that are going for it. And it's one thing to like just build, like put as many good players as you can together. It's another thing, I think, to specifically like, I think they've got very specific targets as far as teams we've got to be able to compete with. Like they just saw firsthand, they saw Michigan up close and personal. Like, so they're building a team they think that can beat that team. Like, you know, Florida's coming into next year either ranked 1 or 2 in the country.
Yep.
Like it's an elite roster.
Yes.
Like, so you're putting together a team that can specifically compete with teams like that.
Yes.
And I think they're doing that. Like, I'm with you. I think Juke Harris is NBA or Tennessee. And I'm pretty confident they're going to add another big man. probably a rotational piece. I don't think it's going to be some huge name.
Yes.
But they're going to add another rotational piece to that, too. You know? I really like the direction that they've gone with this. Like, that they're not like so focused on this whole idea that swept the nation. Like the whole, you got to have two versatile big men on the court at all times. Like, I don't mind zigging while everybody else is zagging now. Like 2 years ago, you were ahead of the curve if you were doing that. Now everybody's trying to do that. Like, I kind of like the versatility of like the 6'7" / forward guard wings, you know, where you can play different. I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential with this roster. And I'm like you. Like, I think they're getting Harris. So I couldn't be more happy with what they're doing, man. I think this has potential to be really, really nice.
Hey, Lee, do me a favor. Do me a write-up for the blog on that, if you wouldn't mind. I'd like to get your perspective in print for people to read, the thousands and thousands and thousands that read that blog.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. And also say this, too, man, I think you've really missed the chance, man, to do some Rups Rafters, man, because they're melting down up there, and it's pretty funny, I have to say.
Oh, really? We need a Rups Rafters recitation?
I mean, I have to imagine those message boards has got to be pretty funny if you're not a Kentucky fan.
All right, Matt, tell the truth. I got to ask Matt Dixon something. Matt, have you been lurking over there to see what they're doing? Because Matt's a sicko with this stuff.
Yeah, I've been reading their board.
Tell me about it. Tell me, give us like some Cliff's notes. What are they?
It's just a total meltdown. That they're embarrassed. They're trying to figure out who to blame. A lot of them, they think it's actually a bigger problem than just Mark Pope. I guess Mitch Barnhart's still in the crosshairs, but it's a show over there. It's great. There was a guy who had a great username. He was the Apostle Saul Smith, which I thought was an incredible username for Rough Raptors.
Which was Paul's name. That's so great, man. God.
What I don't get is like he's getting guys on campus, and then once they're getting there, they're like, "No, this ain't it. I'm done. I'm not coming to Kentucky." Like it's the opposite of where
yes.
it's supposed to go.
They got the BYU kid. That was news. That was earth shattering when they got BYU's kid to come, and he's the Mormon connection, and there's also an assistant AD there that's a Mormon that really. Mitch is saying this guy put the idea on him to go get Mark Pope. Look, if I'm Kentucky basketball, I'm always going to hire a guy that's never won a tourney game in his career. I think that's a good idea. I hope they do it the next time the job opens. Lee, don't you? I think that's a great hire by them.
Yeah, it's spectacular, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
Please do it again.
I don't get. Well, see,
even Pitino's stealing players from them.
Yes.
Yeah, now I was going to say Pitino got their guy.
Yeah.
Well, the two players they got, the Zoom Diallo kid and the Alex Wilkins kid, like they're the most anti-Mark Pope players you could ask for. Like these aren't high percentage 3-point shooters.
No.
They don't shoot the three well.
No.
They're both like extremely high usage players.
That's
they
right.
Have to have the ball in their hand. Like they don't fit what Mark Pope does on offense at all.
Hey, Lee, I think I remember telling you off the air that Wilkins kid or Wilkins was a kid that Tennessee really at one point thought they wanted. And then they ran through their stuff and they realized that this is not a Rick Barnes type of player. And then they investigated him and they realized he wanted two things, his bag and his shots. And guys like that aren't going to play for Rick Barnes. They're just not.
And he turns the ball over like crazy.
Oh, he's going to be so fun.
In a conference that don't play defense.
He's going to be so fun. I love this. I'm having so much fun. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Real quick before I jump off here, man. Dude, your Flyers, man, are an ATM. Right?
Go! Let's go! Let's go, dude!
Yeah, the playoffs have been so awesome, man. Like, I don't know. If you're not watching it, you're missing out, man.
Tonight,
the Flyers have been an ATM.
Hey, I was texting with Mike Monaco last night, and he was like, man, the Flyers, he said they're like a revelation right now. He said they've added those two young kids at the end of the year. Basically what happened is, to those of you who don't follow hockey, try this out. This is how hockey's structured now. So Porter Martone was one of the top players in college hockey this year. The Flyers basically loaned him to Michigan State this year on an already loaded Michigan State team. In the Big Ten, they pay their hockey rosters like we pay this college basketball roster. Those kids make big money. Gavin McKenna is the number one pick in this upcoming draft that's getting ready to happen. He was on Penn State's loaded team. Porter Martone went to Michigan State. He was a great player in college hockey this year. And the thought was they were going to play in the Final Four. Well, they got eliminated like in the first or second round, which made him available to the Flyers 2 weeks earlier than he was supposed to be. Porter Martone, since he's been with the Flyers, has played like 13 games now. I think he's got 15 points, which is goals and assists combined, which is incredible for a rookie. And he's the first teenager to score 2 game-winning goals in playoff games in the history of the league. He's just 19 years old. He's come out of nowhere. The Flyers were barely in the playoffs, a bottom dweller. Lee, do they look like a bottom dweller to you right now in the playoffs?
No, I think the East is wide open. I think everybody's assuming that the Bolts are just going to
and they don't finish in the playoffs. No problem. Yep.
And they're not playing the same in the playoffs the last couple of years as they have been. Vasilevsky's not the same dude in the playoffs.
Nope.
I think the Canadians have a real shot to beat them.
I agree with that.
The East is wide open. I think Buffalo and the Flyers are both very, very live to come out of the East.
I agree with that.
For anybody that missed, you talk about Monaco, I think he's calling that Buffalo series.
Yes.
For anybody that missed that Buffalo game 1, man,
yes.
That is an absolute zoo in that building right now.
Monaco said he couldn't even hear himself think, Lee, in that third period. He told me, he said it was absolutely insane to be in the middle of that the other night.
Oh, it was so much fun, man. Like I ended up, I took a flyer on Buffalo at 18-1 to lift the cup. It came down to them or the Flyers.
Yeah.
Like it ended up going with Buffalo, but man, I think they took Boston Soul like in that comeback the other night. I think you can get Buffalo to win a regulation tonight at like even money. I think it's a really solid bet. I think they put it on.
Lee, I couldn't sleep. Lee, I was so excited about the Flyers last night. I couldn't sleep. I was laying there and I was buzzing. Like I was just like, because here's the thing. I just wanted to make the playoffs. I wanted those young kids to get a taste of it. And we're in and we're beating. Now, the series is not over yet. And the Penguins have Hall of Fame players, and they're liable to come out and beat us 5-0. Here's the thing, though. They can't even get a good shot on the Flyers' goal when they're on the power play. The Flyers have them totally mystified.
Offense is broken. Yeah, the Flyers have them locked down defensively. Like the Penguins are going to have to make a lot of changes to what they're doing, or they're not even going to get shots off on them. So I think the Penguins are really now Game 3, like the way that game ended last night. The Penguins are going to come out like with they're going to want blood after the way that ended last night. Like they were pissed. Like the Flyers sort of gave them the business. So. I think if you can handle like the first period of the next game, then you'll be all right moving forward. But,
score first.
But
you score first. You take a team. You take them right out of the game. It's kind of like my 76ers the other day with Brian Celtics. The 76ers were down like 25 after one period. You got to love that. I mean, don't even – and by the way, the NBA playoffs in their first round is the most unwatchable garbage on planet Earth compared to the NHL. It's not even close. No offense.
Yeah, it's not my sport. I can't comment on it because I don't really watch it. It doesn't really.
Well, I can comment on it. It's brutal. Thank you, Lee. And please write something for the blog. I can comment on it because my Sixers are brutal. And Tobias Harris, Alex, I told you, enjoy your regular season, empty calorie points. He sucks as in the playoffs. Okay, as Akeem. But we'll go back to the phones. Hey, Matt, isn't that weird how hockey's structured where a player plays a whole regular season and then the playoffs, after the NCAA tournament, basically, a guy can join his NBA team. Wouldn't that be wild if you could pre-draft guys? Isn't that a wild thing, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it used to be in college baseball, they'd have the draft like during regionals or super regionals.
And you would know. That's right. That's right.
And there's been a few guys that, barely play in the minors and get called up. I think Crochet might have been that. But that was the whole COVID thing.
One year that
Mike Leake for the Reds one year, probably 15 years ago.
That's right.
Was drafted and went straight to the big leagues.
Yep.
So it's happened, but it's just extremely rare. And and I'm sure it's really rare for hockey too.
I think Leake was from Arizona State. Leake was from Arizona State. Here's the other thing about Martone that's crazy is the Predators had that pick And the Flyers were just praying that they wouldn't pick him. They were just like, please, 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 please. And the Predators didn't pick him, which is what organizations like the Preds do when they're sliding. All those years they drafted well and they hit on the right guy. And I'm not saying the guy they got is not going to be a great player, because who knows? But he's not Porter Martin. I'm just going to promise you that. This guy's got a chance to be a great player. Yes, Brian.
So here's a thought.
Hit it.
What if Billy Donovan, speaking of Kentucky, what if he takes a year off and then comes back to college as the coach of Kentucky in 2027?
Billy Donovan?
Yeah.
I think that's possible, yeah. I don't know why Kentucky, but Matt had a good point. The last time the Kentucky job was open, and they've got more money than anybody. We know that. And they've got a crazy fan base. Matt, I wonder why nobody wanted their job the last time. Is it that Mitch Barnhart is just a total weirdo dynamic? I mean, it's got to be something, right, Matt? Because that's really strange.
Maybe some of that. You're replacing Cal, who, even though they had fallen off, it's not like they were terrible at all.
Yeah.
And the fans couldn't wait to run him out. And I'm sure Calipari has some connections throughout the coaching community, with a lot of friends there that probably just didn't want to follow him there.
We use the term placeholder, right?
It's probably a tough gig.
Yeah, we use the term placeholder. It feels like Pope is a bridge coach, a bridge to something else, and maybe Bry's right. You know what I would do if I were Kentucky, Bry? You want to laugh at me? Who would I bring back there, Bry? I'd bring somebody back there if I were them.
Bruce Pearl, like someone like a Bruce Pearl.
Bring back there.
Not bad. Rick Pitino.
That's exactly what I would do. And I'd prop that dude up there, give him about 15 shots of Botox, and you know what I would do? I'd cut the nets down.
Hopefully they'll bring back Rick Pitino Jr., though. That's who I want. That's the Pitino I want them to hire.
Hey, Matt, am I lying? If you took Pitino right now and put him over there, could he win there, Matt? Pitino right now, even at his age.
Yeah.
Yes.
He would have the best roster in the sport next year.
Yes, he would. Because that son of a gun knows what he's doing. He went to Iona, okay, and freaking won. He's taken St. John's and made them matter again. St. John's went through, a litany of coaches, right, since the sweater was there. I was telling Matt and Bry off the air, you go watch that Big East documentary one day and go look at, when I was a senior in high school in 85, because Negaday was on here crowing about how, well, Florida's going to have the best roster in the thing next year. They're all staying. Negative Dave can't even enjoy when his pride and joy basketball Vols are putting together, like Lee said, just an all-time roster. This is so fun. But Dave, I almost feel, how do I put it? If you weren't such an I can't say that. If you weren't like such a festering pimple that every once in a while I used to get like up under my nasal cavity. You ever gotten one of those, Matt? Right in there, right in that spot. That's what Dave reminds me of. Just constantly just begging to be popped. Dave, I got news for you. Florida only takes up one slot in the Final Four next year, buddy. But not for you. Florida get this roster. And my point is this. Back then, 3 teams from the SEC. 3 teams from that old Big East made the Final Four, and another one played for it in the 8. It was undamn real. And he's taken St. John's that just doesn't even matter anymore. And he got one guy on Wall Street to fund his roster this past year. It's all it takes is one. You get one, as I call them, and no offense to you guys that do this, but I call you all money marks because y'all are marks and y'all have the money. It's a wrestling term. And in the carny world, where that term came from, Money Mark says the wrestlers in each town would find that one guy that would take them out, put them in a hotel, because those guys are all on their own. Put them in a nice hotel, buy them a steak dinner, buy their girlfriend for the night dinner, whatever. Money Marks. But Dave, you're like you're a festering hemorrhoid, man. You cannot enjoy. Matt, could you imagine that, not being able, as much as Dave loves basketball, not being able to just enjoy this? Because I get Matt not liking it. I get Matt doesn't like it because it's not college sports anymore. I get why Matt doesn't like it. And we're the kind of the Yankees now, Matt. It's kind of obnoxious, isn't it, that we're buying all these players?
I mean, it's what the sport's trended to. I'd rather be spending the money than not, at least giving yourself a chance.
That's my point.
I mean, you have hope at least.
That's my point. And I really hope next year when the football season ends, and I'm not going to beat this into the ground, Bino, I'm not. But when the football season ends, we need to start acting like we're the University of Tennessee in the transfer portal. Okay? And I know they don't like me saying that. And I know Josh Heupel doesn't like me saying that. I know people don't like me saying that. But you got to work at it. You got to work at it. Part of your job. Your roster is your responsibility. And it's part of your job. And as Matt said, if we're in Rome and we're going to do as the Romans, let's do as the Romans. Now, Brian, I have work to do, all kinds of like salesy work and work around the show and just work. Should we stay on here for another 15 minutes? Or what should we do, Brian?
Well, you do what you got to do, Tone.
Matt,
I love Brian's responses to that question, Tone. I love it.
I don't, Bill, I mean, Dave, I don't get why Florida's got a great team, okay. Can Tennessee have a great team? 3 teams in the league are super spenders right now in basketball. 3 teams. Tennessee, Florida spending a lot of money. Could keep our roster together, spend a lot of money. And Arkansas. Those are your 3 super spenders this year. Now, who knows from here till there? Does Texas get desperate and throw a bunch of money out? Because Maury's right. At some point, you're going to have a bunch of, what do you call them? 10s at 2? 10s at 2, yeah. Back to our phones we go. 865-200-5402. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air. Hello, welcome in. You're on the air.
It's W. Land. I'm hearing double stuff.
Hello. And whoa. Come on in.
Hello.
Go ahead, W. Lynn.
Hello.
Go ahead, W. Lynn. You're on the air.
I'm kind of hearing double something here. I'm not quite sure what's going on. How y'all doing?
Good, W. Lynn. Welcome in.
Now, some nut texted me. I was at the doctor earlier. Said some married woman wanted to take me to a baseball game. I don't believe it.
Matt Dixon and Brian Hartman, would you guys care to confirm, or the people in the YouTube chat, would y'all care to confirm nor deny that?
You know the caller Holly, W. Lynn?
Yes, I do.
She said that even though she's happily married, she would be willing to sit with you at a baseball game.
No, she said I would love to accompany him to a baseball game. Accompany, W. Lynn, not just sit with you.
Well, what led to that? I mean, what made her say that?
I don't know. She had a phone call, and a couple guys in the chat kind of were cracking on her. And Holly, I want to say The next time those keyboard cowards get at you, and I see it, they're going to the slammer. They're going to that YouTube slammer, okay? But Holly, I was thinking of that Bob Seger song that goes, "Someday, baby, you'll accompany me." She was shooting her shot with you, W. Lynn. It's your beard.
Well,
it's your
appreciate
overall
that.
essence, Holmes. You're sexy.
I appreciate her invite, but I've been to plenty of baseball games, and I'll go to maybe a couple on the porch this year. But I'm having a hard time hearing you, Tony.
Someday, baby, you'll
double repeating or something.
Well, W. Lynn, you know why you're repeating? Because Holly has melted your phone.
Well, maybe that's I love Holly. She's great.
See?
But I'm having a hard time hearing what's going on. But
W. Lynn, love you. That's get a new phone. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, are you hearing double?
Oh, I'm not anymore.
Very good. Welcome in.
I hear single. The great Allie Palmer got me on your show. She took a guitar lesson from you a few times. She's pretty amazing. But just wanted to talk a little bit about the baseball situation. And me and my wife have been going to the games for, like 7 years now.
Okay.
And we've kind of seen the slow changes over the times. And the thing that got us this year with Danny Dimes is we now have a baby, right? 3 months old.
Yep.
And they are now charging us to bring in said baby, which we weren't expecting this year, but it is what it is. But you got
to be kidding me. Like a newborn baby?
A newborn, yep. Even if it doesn't hold a seat, you have to pay for the baby.
Matt, your thoughts on that?
Not really a fan of that.
Yeah.
Let them in.
Were you surprised? To my listener, you've been going for how long?
It's about 7 years now.
Oh
yeah.
My gosh.
So of course we didn't look into it at all. I mean, we weren't like
you just assumed,
saying,
like not full price though, not full price, right?
Well, you have to buy a ticket. So what we do is we buy a standing room only ticket. But yeah.
So you got your babies, and somebody needs to do a meme of a baby in standing room for this gentleman. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's the rule.
Do these people have families? What in the world? No, you're just trying to get me going. That's okay.
I mean, that's what we've been having to do this whole year. But yeah, there was a caller yesterday. I just got through listening to your show last night. It was a younger gentleman, Jude, I think. Hey, Jude.
Hey, Jude. Yep.
That guy.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy. He was talking a lot about the student section. I remember I went to school there in 2011 or at UT, and they would almost like pay us to go, right? So it's a complete flip these days. Them trying to get the students in, it feels like they're just pushing them more and more out. But you can tell the vibe has definitely changed. Winning cures all, but still, it's definitely a lot different than it used to be even, 2 years ago. Right. So
my question is, how do we get here this quickly? How do we get here to where I'm charging a baby to go to a baseball game? Whereas before, and you know this, 7 years ago, would they have charged your baby to go to the baseball game?
No, they'd probably
they would have charged him.
Try to invite the whole
Yeah, you would have charged them and brought them to your shower, your baby shower, and then the thing with the kids, they've totally changed the atmosphere in there, haven't they? I couldn't put my finger on it until Jude called in. The atmosphere is not even close to being the same, even though the stadium's full, than those Tony years when you'd walk in there and those students were standing and raising a ruckus the whole time. And I mean, they were heckling the absolute fire out of that opposing team. They were really funny.
Yeah, that first base coach got it every game. Every game. And God forbid the first baseman look funny or be a little overweight, It was not a good time.
And they would turn around as well. Hey, Matt, that one day when Tony and the head coach at Arkansas exchanged words, those students were in rare form down there, Matt. They were all over that dude, and that was like during COVID times. They were right on top of things.
Yeah, I think coming out of COVID, you had a lot of like bottled up energy, especially for like on campus, and the team was so fiery and won that was just such a perfect match, and you just lit a flame that blew up. I don't know how you could replicate that kind of early success because you didn't really have expectations with the program like we do now. So I don't know how you get stuff like that back, but you definitely need to have the students involved. They literally have no impact on games whatsoever, and they're just down there, in a different zip code.
Laura and I went down there and sat with them early in the season. Big, huge Friday night game. This is Wright State. A huge crowd for that game. And the stadium's so pretty and what they've done. But, man, putting the students there where they are is just such a mistreat. It's such a missed opportunity. Not only are you mistreating your ticket buyer of tomorrow, but it's just a missed opportunity to have great atmosphere in your building. Duke would never do that, Danny White, to their students. They would never do that in basketball to their students, ever. And they could raise, to my caller, think about how much revenue Duke could raise if they took those tickets away from those students. But not everything that counts in life can be counted. And Danny missed the boat on this.
Yep. And one last thing, the people that sit to our left and to our right, so we have season tickets kind of like near the press box areas.
Sure.
It's shaded now, which is nice. But the people to our left and right, I've never met them in the last 5 years. I've met the people that used to be there like 7 years ago. But the past 5 years, I've never met the people to my left or my right. They're always sold. It's random people every time. So something just needs to change all around with how they do ticketing there. But yeah, I would, there people are just selling them or just not showing up. So go Vols, and I'll let you guys go.
Thank you. Great talking to you. And go Vols back to you. That's a great call to end on. But, Matt, I'm glad you voiced that. Because, Matt, you've been going when there was 50 people there. I mean, Matt's so hardcore, he went up and saw Vitello in Cincinnati last week with the Redlegs. Did they lost 2 out of 3, right? Appropriately enough, and won the getaway game, kind of like we did on Sunday the other day.
Yes, yeah,
that's pretty.
Yeah, they won the game that Chase Burns pitched for the Reds.
That's very appropriate.
But they didn't score a single run off him. I think he shut him out for 6 innings.
Yes.
Burns is, I would say, pretty damn good, guys. I'd say he's pretty damn good.
Really good.
Yeah.
He's got a future in that sport.
What were you saying, Matt? I'm sorry.
He's still just a 2-pitch guy.
That's right.
The Wake Forest lab didn't really develop anything for him, but he went number 2 overall in Tennessee, won a natty, so it worked out well for both.
Hell yes. And what were you saying, Bri? And if I'm not mistaken, didn't they get eliminated in their regional?
They lost I think they went 0-2 that year.
That's the Evansville went to
Evansville,
East Carolina, and won. That was Evansville that came out of that regional.
The Aces, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Purple Aces.
He only spoke to Q. He didn't speak to Tony V or Frank.
Who dat?
Last week, that was Chase Burns.
Oh, really? Where'd you get that, Bri?
I saw it. He said they had a press conference. I may have sent you a text last week.
No.
He said that he spoke with Q, but he said he didn't speak with Tony Vitello, and he doesn't talk to him or anybody else, just with Q.
That's kind of pathetic.
So that was interesting.
Matt, do you find that pathetic that he would say that out loud?
Well, he was probably asked about it specifically.
He was asked, yes.
Q's out there on the field a lot. Was out there a lot pregame for like an hour or so.
He said, "I don't talk to Tony, though." That's what Brian said. He said
it looked pretty easy that he could interact with him.
But I don't talk to Tony, saying that, and I don't talk to Frank Anderson.
Or he didn't talk to anyone. Maybe he said he didn't talk to anyone but Q.
Oh, well, Bri.
Or something like that.
But did he say I don't talk to them, Bri? Or I didn't talk to them? Which one now?
Well, it's probably both.
Seymour Joe said he still has beef with Tony.
I'm sure he does.
So Danny,
again, worked out well for everybody involved.
Danny White is charging babies admission to go to games. That's the most illiterate everything in sports. I mean, could they mistreat people more than they do in the relationship between the modern fan and
they got to
sport?
pay tremendous coaching salaries, Tom.
And then you bring your baby in there and Sterling Hinton screaming at the child for 3 hours.
They got to pay for the renovated stadium.
Matt, do you enjoy the Sterling Hinton screaming the whole baseball game? Are you into that?
I can kind of tune that out. So
wow, that's a gift.
I think he only does it on Sundays this year. But no, I can, in the press, even though the press box is open, when they open the windows, I can kind of tune him out, which is good.
All right, boys, love you guys. Hey, Dixon, thanks for the great report today and the great work you've been doing. And thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all. Till we meet again, my name is Basilio. We love you. God bless. G to the B to the O. Take the VO. God, Bino was, going to give me some red ass pills. He told me yesterday when he departed. I was like, whoa. And Will said, you know what? He needs some time off. What's happened here?
That guy needs some time off. I tell you what I would do with him if I were them.
Wait, hang on a second.
I'd take him and try to make a pitcher out of him to help me in the stretch.
Wait a second. That's yesterday.
Because they need another arm out of that bullpen.
Now what's going on here? What are we doing here? It's not today's show. Oh, I know what happened. That was the thing that was playing before the thing that was playing. Okay, I get what's going on here. That got onto our YouTube. People are going to be confused now. I'm going to have to clip that. I'm going to have to go into Clip Champ and clip that out of there. Ignorant toward these college coaches. First of all, they're in an ignorant spot anyway because Maury Hanks, here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
The portal and everybody eats your own. And I heard an incredible story last night about this Amari Evans kid in Tennessee. Sit down with him and they just couldn't believe it. They were like, oh boy, this guy's going out the door. But everybody's having to deal with that. But the calendar doesn't line up at all. It doesn't make any sense for college basketball.
Yeah, Tony, but I don't know how farther you can push it back. Like now, if you say you push it back now, before it was before the Final Four. At least this year they pushed it back. So if you say you're going to push it back another week, again, then you're running up against the end of the school year at some schools that that end in late April. Then you're running up against. Then you're running up more against the NBA draft decisions. I don't know how much, again, if you want to push it back a week, and again, it doesn't matter what I think.